beautiful thing right now.
Rise and shine, it's a beautiful day. I'm alright.
About a third of the building has been blown away.
This is the bridge to the white lights.
Our very freedom came under attack in a series of deliberate and deadly terrorist acts.
And at that point, we were taken for another round of questioning, this time related to our allegedly being members of Massie.
It's crazy evil.
Good morning, good morning. Welcome to the No Way Jose podcast. This is the Morning Dump. I am your host, Jose Galison. It's Friday, TGIF. I got my run in today. I got a workout in already, everything. Feeling pretty good, feeling good. I think I've shook off basically all of the sickness of the past week. I had to push off the episode I was planning on recording tonight, last night for tonight. So sorry for the patrons, but you will be getting that tonight. Should be a fun one. It's going to be kind of on the nexus of like the occult, intel, and the UFO world. So it should be a fun one. But I'm glad to be with you guys today. We have a few things to go through, some interesting stuff, a little bit of cleanup of like stuff that's been missed with other things going on. But there's some new stories, some interesting stuff. Massie had some interesting things to say about Operation Phoenix recently, and obviously we'll have some more Epstein stuff for you as well. Some stuff on the Bolton going on, and then a little bit more on kind of I don't know, what is it, the second Trump would-be assassin, I guess you could call him, Ralph, and kind of the craziness going on there. But we plan to go through, we'll hang out with you guys as well to kind of start it off with. We haven't really on this show yet covered the Alex Jones beef going on, so I figured, I don't know, I figure that's probably a fair place, a good spot for a good, what's the word I'm looking for? It's a good fit for our normal morning video, because usually I try to keep that in the realm of kind of, I don't know, I guess you could say pop culture. It's to grab your attention. It's the starting off of the show. It's also like to kind of a little bit of delaying while we wait for more people to come in, because this is a live stream, so there's a little bit of engagement. So, but this is smut. I normally wouldn't. I do hesitate to go because it doesn't feel substantive, the Shroyer versus Jones thing. But I do think there's a glint of substance to be dragged out of there that we will get into. And also, it's just kind of a fun little thing to go into the beginning. But I found an interesting little video for you guys to go through. For any of you guys out there that have dug through, I know some people have been getting into the midst of picking sides and whatever. And there have been, and I guess just to break it down a little before I play the video, there's been essentially Owen Shroyer, I guess a longtime person on InfoWars, decided to resign. He did a 5-hour stream, I think it was sometime earlier this week, explaining his reasonings. And those being, I guess he kind of sort of implied sort of censorship, but not really, but it was more of like a presence over your back type stuff, and you'll see it here in this video I'm going to play here. But now there have been other people who have shared other examples of similar such situations, but I think this one right now that we're about to go over is actually probably the most egregious example I've seen so far. It just got overlooked because it was a little bit further in the past, I think, because there was some other example that was more recent, and then whereas this one is, it's still fairly recent. This one's still from like a month ago. This is still in the midst of all the Epstein stuff going on. But this one I think gives you a little bit more of an inside of what was driving Shroyer nuts and what might be going on over there. But let's go ahead and get into it. Let me bring this up for you guys real quick. All right, bringing it up now. All right, cool. Audio's working. Let's go ahead and play this. Now this is right here. I've been just to I guess to set the stage a little bit more. So according to this guy, an apparently intoxicated Alex Jones hijacks Owen Shroyer's War Room broadcast to demand he report positive news about Trump instead of complaining about the direction of the country. Clearly angry, Owen nearly quits live on air. After a brief break, Owen comes back on and gives a full red pill rant about the Zog and we are all living under. You have to see this. Now, it says Alex storms out about the 9:50, but we're going to go a little bit before that because I do think it's important context. But I will let you know, I did watch before the show. I was a little bit late. It was partially because I was wanting to catch the little bit of context here so I could tell you. But he kind of started off the show. We're going to start about 7 minutes deep into it, whereas they say Alex crashes in about 9, but I think this is important context because you can see what he was talking about at the time. You'll see why I felt the need to back up a little bit. But just to give you further context here, the 7 minutes prior to this is kind of obviously the opening of the show, a little bit of kind of, I don't know, the normal niceties you do at the beginning of the show, and then he kind of leads off with what story? He starts off with the Brown University story, and from CNN, essentially these weird Trump shakedown deals with these universities, and he's kind of going and how, like, essentially he's kind of making the case that, hey, this is essentially DEI for Jews, and then he kind of gets a little bit into, and that's kind of where we're at right now. That's basically, he's upset. Also, the timing here is Trump's already done his 180 on the Epstein stuff. And he'll get a little bit into that. So that's the timing of this. This was back in August, or early August. So, but let's go and play this now.
Just figures it's all a numbers game. And he just figures, well, I'll just come out and say the Epstein thing is a hoax, and people will just believe me, or they'll just think it's left-wing fake news. So even though it's not a hoax, even though it's a very real issue, and even though a very large portion of his base is disgusted by how he's handling this and the PR, he probably just figures, it's a numbers game. I'll just deny everything, call it a hoax. And the majority of people will just think it's fake news because they've been lied to so much by these corporate news outlets, so won't be an issue. Well, I guess they kind of mismeasured that because it's a gigantic issue. But you can't just say, oh, that's CNN, it's not true, or, oh, that's just fake news, it's not true. Or that's just this, it's not true. Or that's just that. And I see this now, too, where it's like they'll even try to do that to myself or to Alex. And I was listening to the Alex Jones show earlier, and I don't know if this is what was, causing him to go off on a little rant, a couple rants today. But, talking about how, hey, I've been here for 30 years. I have a track record. You're an online social media account that just popped up for an election cycle, and you're going to tell me what's what? You're going to say I'm fake news now? You're going to say I'm fake MAGA now because I don't report things that you like to see and you want me to be in your cult? And maybe that's what it is. It's very cult-like behavior. And if you've ever noticed or have even studied cults, whenever you reject the cult, they get very violent against you. And it's a defense mechanism.
I think you guys are starting to see why I felt the need to show a little bit more context. But let's keep going. Sorry, I'm jumping in. I did actually have, just so you guys know, a little behind the scenes thing. I did have an episode recently, for those who care. It did get removed for copyright. So I'm just trying to be careful here to take a break. I feel like InfoWars would be someone that probably would be, I don't know, maybe would hit me with a copyright. I'm not sure. Although I don't think they're on YouTube, so they might not even be able to. So I'm being safe, but yeah, so just throwing a little commentary. But you guys see why I felt the need to add a little extra.
Whenever you go against the cult or you reject, I don't want to end the cult, they get very violent and aggressive against you. It's a defense mechanism that cults have. So I guess that's what it is.
By the way, it was Netflix who got me, for anyone who cares. It was Netflix, because it was Bert, not Bert, it was what's his name? Norm Macdonald. Norm Macdonald bit that I played. It was a little bit long. It was on the longer side of an outro. It was an outro, and it was like a joke where he was like making fun of his buddy. He was like just dropping like a Holocaust denial facts over and over and over again, but like putting him on his like buddy to his side, saying that's what he told them. Just like an ongoing Norm Macdonald bit. And I don't know. They hit me for copyright. I was a little worried the whole episode was going to get nuked. But anyways, so if you're wondering like, hey, why is he breaking up the flow right now? Sometimes you got to do that in this game.
It's like, hey, I'm not picking up the pom-poms. I'm not going to sit here and kick my leg in the air every time, Trump farts and say, oh my gosh, go Trump. When he does great things like what the results of the tariffs have been, we'll say, wow, fantastic. Looks like this is going to work out great. And then when he does things that are just awful, like, oh, Epstein was a hoax, we're going to say, that's horrible. Why are you doing that? But let's move on because you probably understand that. Now, other news here with the...
So to recap, kind of cults, he did make some sort of reference to some sort of Owen, or not Owen, but some sort of Jones rant he had earlier, so I'm not going to go that deep into it. If one of you guys want to go, whatever, there's jumping off. I mean, there's further context of something there, although if anything, I feel like it actually seemed like he was kind of taking Jones's side, especially because from my recollection of where Jones is this weird straddling the middle. He even kind of, this cult stuff that Owen was kind of saying, Owen or Jones did that, and then kind of weirdly still somehow has found ways to still continually cave to the MAGA narrative, or it's just kind of weird. I don't know. He's doing this weird line straddling thing, whereas Owen's clearly far more like, fuck that. But anyways, he's about to come in here. Let's keep going.
The FBI, and it was about, I don't know, maybe 2 or 3 hours of the Jones Show today covered this, so I'm not going to spend too much time on it other than to just say, yeah, they got rid of the deep state assets. And look, I won't try to claim like we know too much about these guys individually, but
here he is.
These were the guys carrying out deep state actions, and it was well known. And so it just shows you, not only are they going after the people that were watching over January 6th, they're going... For
the audio people, you have Alex Jones standing behind Owen, smiling like an idiot, like a big just shit-eating grin, kind of looking like, when do I get to join in? Owen, you can tell knows he's there, and you can just sense the irritation, but let's keep going.
After the people that were running all the federal entrapment schemes, including in Michigan, because it was a lot of the same people. All right, Alex Jones in studio, go ahead.
Well, Carl Saravin's totally vindicated. These major firings are on. I was just talking to him, major new stuff he just got from his sources, like he's all in the FBI. I said, hey, we going on with your breaking stuff? I know you got a clear show. If you want him on, get them to set him up. He's ready to go, because this is breaking huge. It's up to you.
All right, we'll get that lined up. So they've obviously identified who was running all the actions. But see, this is...
By the way, I saw someone in the chat saying they thought claiming fair use on videos allowed you to play a video. Well, I think for something to be fair use, you do have to, that's why what I'm saying, fair use, it requires some specific commentary or some nonsense, which is what I'm doing now. So that's why if I go there's some weird rule with YouTube, if it's a certain period, I forget this, but I need to look into it one of these days. But a certain period of time, if it's this video is playing unedited, uninterrupted, whatever, you did nothing to make it a unique product of your own. It's like IP law stuff. That's all. It's copyright stuff. So it's if you're doing nothing to alter its state whatsoever, although let's be real, taking it out of context in its own as a clip is kind of changing it. But whatever. I don't believe in IP. IP is gay. But whatever. That is the concept at play here. So I don't know if it's 2 minutes, minute, and a minute. I think it is 2. It's a significant amount of time, so I don't have to get too squirrely to jump in that they're going to remove the video. It's a significant amount of time, I think. But it was a 4-minute video for that outro. So I played a 4-minute video with no commentary whatsoever, straight pulled out of Netflix. So yeah, I guess that's how they got me. But anyways, let's get back to this.
Where you start to run into an issue.
But see, that's good news, Owen. You got grand juries impaneled. They're firing people.
No. See, I'm gonna push back now. I'm gonna push back then, Alex, because here's what I'm gonna say. And it's not even about this. This is just a general statement. I want fucking arrests. That's what I want. Okay? Period. End of sentence. And I know you do too, Alex.
You want an arrest? You got arrested for attacking the
Exactly. So my rights were violated.
Is this not weird to you? I mean, I don't know. I don't watch InfoWars hardly. I think the last time I watched InfoWars anything was the Kanye stuff. So I don't really. I just catch clips every now and then to see to see where his head is at. But this is weird. If this is this very much is reminiscent of I don't know. I had that freak out that you guys seemingly seem to like that Tim Cass, Alex Stein, all those clucking hens and stuff. This is very similar vibes. This feels like, whether it is or not, this feels like running interference. I mean, this could, though, speak more. I don't know. You never know to what degree. Is Alex some sort of weird true believer, MAGA true believer? Is this an act? You never know. He's a... I know, he does seem lost in the sauce quite a bit. So I kind of, the more I dig into Alex, the more of a true believer he seems. So I don't know. He might be just genuinely conflicted here and dealing with some weird fucking stuff. I don't know. I mean, I'm fully open to the idea that Alex is just like some sort of controlled something or other. But I mean, man, especially after if you caught the freak out with all this, it is just like it's such a level of delusion. You're like, what the fuck is going on here? But anyways, so my point being is it makes it harder to think it's some sort of, I don't know, like a controlled op as opposed to just the fact that he's a loony. But I don't know. I've never been one. I know there's a million people on both sides, whether there are people who are haters of Alex or they're lovers of Alex that will come out of, no, he's been good on X, Y, and Z, and then everyone has this, that, and this. He's been shit on. I don't really have a strong opinion. I kind of put him in like conspiracy, like gen pop nonsense, low tier, whatever the fuck. Like, cool. I think it's like entertainment conspiracy. Like, I think it has its place. It's cool. It generates interest in some ways. You don't want to get sucked into it too much. But anyways, let's keep going.
Here's the deal. We're like stuck in the mud. We're starting to go out of it. So be optimistic.
Alex, I have a solution. All right, since you're in here and we're having some fun,
we're all fucked. It's all over.
No. I have the solution actually,
Yeah.
Alex. I am converting. I am Jewish now. I'm going to put on my yarmulke, and now I might get some attention. They might arrest the people that fake swatted me. They might arrest the people that assault me in the streets.
I made the joke that I was Jewish. Say, here's the problem. As much as we don't like Israel, then the Nazis are so fake, and we joke and say we're Jewish, they'll say it. I am Jewish. And they're going to like, Jones says he's Jewish. No, I am Jewish. I am a space alien. So, Owen, you
No, I'm doing this. I'm converting now so I can get some things done that I want done. That's what I'm going to do. Because, you just have to realize what it is. Like if a pitcher...
By the way, I didn't make a point to mention, I'd say probably the two major complaints that he said, although it was kind of couched in a little bit of ambiguity, although between this clip and another clip, you kind of see exactly what he means. He kind of implies the idea of like he's breathing down his back. But then also, as you'll mention, he mentioned Kyle Seraphim a minute ago, and Jones did, which if I recall correctly, I believe Kyle was one of those people that hopped on there early on. That he had some, God, I forgot all about this until now. He was one of the, and this was probably right around this time too, if I recall correctly, where he was the one saying, "Oh, I got buddies in the FBI that say that there's like a fuckload of like porn, and they're gonna. I mean, I don't know. I mean, to be fair, I don't know. Kyle could be telling the truth. I never know what to make of Kyle because I know, for example, like he was one of the ones that kind of made it semi more prolific. The whole Alex Wilkins, Kash Patel's booty call, girlfriend, whatever, beard or whatever you want to call it, is almost certainly some sort of. I don't know, maybe not necessarily directly controlled, but op of some sort. She has concerning connections to the state of Israel, I guess is the best way to put it. I don't remember the receipts super well, but I guess Kyle came out kind of super sloppily or somehow. I don't forget the specific detail, but now he's getting sued for that. The point being is, like, obviously I believe that. I forget exactly how he said it. If I recall correctly, he said it kind of sloppy. So I've heard, for example, our Booty, which we've covered his stuff along the show. He kind of had a conspiracy that which maybe there's something to it. I'm completely open to it that like Kyle could have it could have been theater that like, hey, he's going to throw this out sloppily because someone got too close to the truth, and then now he throws it out, and then now they get to sue him because he used kind of unspecific language that would be able to catch him in some sort of whatever. Now you have a legal thing on out there that shows, oh, look how stupid this is, and essentially being an LOL cow, kind of shit coding the narrative. Now I don't know about all that. I don't know if Kyle is necessarily that smooth of an operator, or who knows. I have no idea. He could be completely legit. It's always, let's be real, I always have my doubts when we're dealing with a Fed of any sort. So anyways, but point being is he kind of like essentially foists guests upon him without really telling him, and I think he does in this situation as well. And it's weird considering that Kyle was kind of, to some degree, servicing up copium to MAGA at that time. To be fair, it could have been true, but obviously nothing materialized from it. I forget the specific claim, but it was one of those sources say, I have some FBI buddies, which he does have FBI buddies, so it could be truth, but it also could just be seeded misinfo. And considering the weird tone and tenor of this fucking clip, I don't know. Maybe there's something to it. Let's keep going.
Throws fastballs, say, oh, okay, I'm going to anticipate a fastball. Well, I know the administration puts the priorities of Jews first, like a little college student girl who gets into an argument with a guy in a gym. It's a federal investigation. It's a federal case.
No, I hear everybody's pissed at Israel. That's good. My point is we've got major traction. This is a new scandal where everything Seraphin said about that plane and the J6 people and the Raiders, I'm telling you, they are flipping out right now.
Yeah, people are going to get fired.
That's funny. I didn't even realize that, like, and that's what they're not even talking about, like, what I was referring. So it's some other. I didn't realize, is this a thing? Does Kyle regularly go on the show and service up? I don't know. Like, what is he talking about? I'm not even aware of whatever these other stories were. So, to be fair, I don't just. Whatever, maybe Kyle did really have whatever he's referring to was legit. Then the story that came to mind for Kyle around that period of time was seemed to be some MAGA copium, which we covered in the show back in the day.
Get there, so it's an important story. That's why we get the story out to put him in jail. We're getting close, Owen. First time grand jury's impaneled. Never happened before.
There's never been a grand jury before?
No, Trump never impaneled Trump's DOJ. You can go on. They did plenty of criminal referrals. This ain't a criminal referral, Owen. They have grand juries impaneled. We hold their feet in the fire. It happens.
Let's hope so. That's what we're doing.
No, it's like Kennedy 3 weeks ago goes on vacation. They authorized mRNA shots. And I said, I bet he didn't know. He fires the panel, fires the people, and just frickin' banned all of them. I'm telling you, we're in a tug of war. We don't take our ball and go home, Owen.
Who's taking their ball and going home?
You got the people on one side saying don't trust anything out of the administration. You don't know what they're doing. You got other people that just say it's all screwed, don't do anything. I'm the person saying there's a battle over the future of this. Anyways, just listen to me.
So shut up in color.
What I mean, I have less faith than you, but I haven't disagreed with you.
No, it's not that I have faith. We don't have a choice but to try to beat these people, and we got a real shot at it.
It's circular logic. It's like it's Trump no matter what. Actually, I'm gonna keep playing. I'm gonna find something for you guys. Let's keep playing this.
Hey. You understand? There's a tug of war over who's going to control this.
Yes, I don't have any idea, Alex. I have no idea. Explain it to me, please.
Well, I mean, it's easy.
I mean, it's not like I come on here and push back against this stuff. It's not like we've stood up in front of Congress.
I'm not pushing back. I'm saying this is the first time in 8+ years of Trump being in and out of office that they have impaneled grand juries. Regardless, finally the J6 captain that ran all the persecution against you and others just got fired, and a bunch of other people, because we spotlighted their ass. Don't underestimate the power we've got.
Beautiful. I don't. So I want arrests. So that's what I want. So I listen and I agree and I say I want arrest.
All right. I found it real quick. I just want to show you guys this. Just take a peek over what the sort of stuff Trump's been posting these days. Check this out. It's always this weird, creepy, like on this thing of cult, which I just do not remember this sort of stuff in the past. Watch this. For the audio people, this is Mount Rushmore, and then it's got a picture of Trump next to it, and it's kind of this weird music, and they're kind of slowly smiling. And I mean, obviously, listen to the lyrics too. Then you got it's just boomer slop. Then you got a fight between Pritzker and the other fatty. I can't remember his name. God, he's got a really hilarious photo that every time it pops up in my timeline, I can't help but Google the photo. God, what's his name? The fatty who has God, what is his name? It's really gonna bug me. I can't think of his name. The one who, if you guys have seen it, you'll immediately laugh just by mentioning. There's literally a famous photo of him at some like NBA game of like with a giant thing of M&Ms, and he's pouring a smaller thing of M&Ms in, and he really is a gigantic fatty. But then also here's the Cracker Barrel stuff. So all this this is from yesterday. Just him walking up to the. him walking up to the Cracker Barrel person, shaking his hand, kind of like he saved Cracker Barrel. For those who remember that, it's just stupid slop. That's what we're getting. All right, let's go back to this. I just find it funny, because Alex kind of evoked the trust in Trump thing. That's kind of been the only shred MAGA's had lately. So it's like they've just kind of created this I don't know, this just further segmented boomer cult. I don't know. I need to talk to my my family, make sure they're okay, because this makes you worried. To check on your boomer family, because is this where they're at? I don't know. Let's keep going.
No, that's very sophisticated. You said it 8 times. What I'm telling you is that this is a new giant scandal. Trump is not going to learn about all the operatives inside the system, and we've just blown a giant hole in their ass. So I'm telling you, look.
Chris Christie, that's who it is. Thanks, guys.
How far we've come. This stuff doesn't have, it's like Force 10 from Navarone, where they blow up the dam, it doesn't collapse right away. Just be patient. And then attack, or it won't happen. We have I sense victory. I smell blood.
I mean, look how pissed this guy looks. I mean, like, this is his show he's trying to run. I mean, I don't know. I get, like, sure, if you ran a studio, and it is his studio, sure, fully in his right, no one's making any sort of property rights arguments or anything. It's just more that we, the people, I guess I don't watch the show, so it doesn't matter, but I just feel like, I know, the people, that's who they're trying to appeal for their show to, are saying, yo, dude, what the fuck? This is a very odd and a way to run a show, to the point that I think people don't like this shit, myself included. I'd be pretty irritated if I got hired on to be a commentator for someone and this is how they treated me. It'd be one thing. I mean, maybe there's playful ways to do this occasionally, especially someone of Alex Jones' note. I get why this could be, Alex Jones in the studio, hoo-hoo-hoo. But, like, for this, when it's clearly, I just don't know how anyone can think this is the right move here. But let's keep going.
I am pushing it. What is the problem here? I'm the one demanding stuff go farther.
Listen, Kyle Seraphin was the guy 5 months ago said you're not getting the Epstein files. He's been a huge pessimist. He smells blood today. This is big time, buddy. Okay, so I'm telling you, it's going down like Donkey Kong, and we need to press this all the way out right now. That's what I'm telling you right now. Okay, so the public is pissed. The public wants indictments. We already know that. Instead of just saying they want indictments, Trump doesn't know all this stuff. He's now learning about it. There's total flip outs happening. That the guy that raided his house is flying Kash Patel's plane around. That the people that put out challenge coins where they're the president are the ones running this shit. They're in deep poo-poo. I think Kash Patel's going to get axed over this or others. This is big. Alex Jones is always right, Owen.
You think Patel will get fired?
I'm telling you.
Keep in mind, this is from a month ago. This is the cope that which is what part of why I want to play this. It's interesting to see this snapshot in time, see where the cope was at, and see where things are. I mean, like, Owen's been pretty so far. I mean, it's looking like the future is I don't know. Seems like so far as track records go, it's the future is going to shine a lot brighter on the Owen Shroyers of the world than the Alex Joneses when it comes to at least to this particular issue.
Victory is within our grasp.
What is victory?
Man, hey.
I'll define victory right now.
When I got on air 31 years ago.
How many arrests?
When I got on air 31 years ago, 1% knew about this. Now like 30% know. You're sitting there.
That's a separate issue. That's a completely different issue.
Listen, I'll leave you alone. I just came here to give you the news. We won't have Colin on the show. You're right. We're fucked. We should just shut the show off right now. It's all over, folks.
Okay, shut it down. There you go. You just heard from Alex. Shut it down.
Oh, fuck. Yeah, they didn't ban 22 mRNA shots. They're not trying to. Yeah, nothing. Everything's doomed, folks. We're all fucked.
Him storming off like a little baby.
There you go.
It's like this weird shielded trying not to act upset, but he's clearly upset. Like, it's
Guys,
weird.
Play break. There you go. You just heard it. Go ahead.
Yeah, he looks super pissed, as well I would be.
No, I'm serious. Go to rebroadcast.
But I see all you guys in the chat saying you think this is theater and stuff, and I get it. But the little bit I've dug into it, I genuinely think that, like, Owen is just kind of it's the real boy syndrome. He's like, I'm a real boy. I think it's legit. I mean, does that mean I think he's right on everything? I barely know anything about Owen, but seems if it's theater, they're doing a good job. I will say, I mean, I have had some people say that, like, to be fair, I haven't watched the full 5-hour stream Owen did on this, but I mean, I kind of get some people saying, hey, they don't like the airing out, the dirty laundry, all that. I get it. Like, although even then, from the bits I've seen, he was super judicious. So I don't know. Even then, I'm kind of torn on that. It seems to be his position, from my understanding, was kind of like, I feel like the fans are owed an explanation, especially since it was so abrupt and everything. Like, and so he seemingly tried to do the most polite way. And then we'll get into a little bit more of the fallout after this, but. And I think it kind of makes it look, it's pretty hard to kind of, I don't know, to be sympathetic to Alex in this situation. Let's keep going. Just him looking visibly upset. But they told them to shut it down. I don't think
the
they
red
believed
is
him.
President Trump, the blue is President Biden. Every single income group did better under President
Until they
Trump.
cut to some video.
But what's really amazing is look what happened under Biden. The lowest income group lost income 4 years after President Biden's
And then this is basically all of it. We'll move on in a second.
Which was the only group that did better under Biden, which is ironic. Biden keeps saying he was trying to get rid of income equality. He made income equality worse.
So they cut to video. I don't even bother playing that. We'll go right to, and I think it's at least worthwhile to just kind of see. It's at least funny to see how he comes back in right about here. This is where he comes back into the show. I guess he kind of maybe took a minute. He said, all right. So, took a few minutes because he had said, like, he was like, fine. He was saying, like, killing, like, he's done with the show. And then he cut to break, and he clearly was upset because I clearly get where Owen's coming from. He's trying to run a show and dealing with this at the same time. Let's go and see how he chooses to come back into the show. Which apparently, I guess I talked to Mel the other day, and she said that I guess he does impersonations. But this is, I didn't know enough of him. I just thought this was fucking hilarious. Let's keep going.
Keep moving. Thank you. Thank you, press.
Oy vey. You all just saw it. I was struck. I was assaulted. A madman came into this studio. A mad anti-Semite, a Jew hater. A radical leftist Islamo-fascist came in here and insulted me. I demand justice. This cannot stand. You all saw it. Blatant assault and battery. Threatened to kill my entire people. It's basically a Holocaust up in here. My God. Oy vey.
All right, you don't really see. He does. It's a pretty hilarious little thing, but as so far as substance, to particularly here, it ends. Now, like I said, there was a 5-hour stream, and he did make vague allusions to what we saw. I mean, he was kind of just describing like that situation is what he described, from my understanding of the thing. Like, but from that, people took. Because he said, like, hey, I felt like I was being, kind of like, hey, I was really down. I was just being pessimistic. I was just like, and he wasn't saying that I was ever told I couldn't be anything or have any positions, but it was just kind of this, like, almost looming presence or whatever, which we saw that. That totally makes sense. I get that. That's an accurate way to describe it. So, yeah. And then, so that's what he said. He said kind of going to do his own thing. He did fundraise off it, which, okay, that feels a little gross, I guess. But, I mean, he's going independent, so he's kind of needs the money. It makes sense if he's going that route. So, I don't know. For my take, having not consumed every little bit of content in this world, I don't know. He seemed kind of like he kind of took the big route. Now, this is how Alex, this is basically the tone and tenor of how Alex dealt with this.
You are a snake. You are a rat. You are a fraud. You are a backstabber. You are a handbiter. You are a disgrace. You are a snake. You are a rat.
All right, so that's basically the whole gist. He had a complete and utter freak out. I mean, even before his show, he went on other shows and was like having freakouts and stuff. I think this following day, he like sort of apologized, but even then, it was just an apology for like, I'm sorry, you guys saw that side of me. There was some really dark, dirty words I used. I shouldn't be talking like that. I mean, who knows who's gonna be watching this show? That's an awful Alex Jones impression, but. It was more the idea that he was like, because he had a complete and utter freak out, fucking. I mean, yeah, he did use all sorts of coarse language, I guess. So that was his angle. But he's still like, good. But I mean it all. So I mean, I don't know. Whatever. It seems, if anything, he's making the point that hey, Alex Jones is hard to work for, and then this is how he acts, and then even then, furthermore, how Owen responded to this is I think he put out some sort of like supercut of all the good times they had and such, kind of saying thank you for everything. And yeah, so that's where things are now. For those who care, we spent way too much time on it today. But I did have a little bit of tidbit of info, or a piece of info that most people weren't honed in on, what I think was a little bit more substantive than the other one they were throwing around. The other clip I saw going around was a little bit more, I will say, it probably maybe also did better too, because it was shorter, so it was able to kind of catch virality a little bit better. But I think it didn't do as good of a job as displaying the sort of behavior that Owen was talking about. So with that, also know that this isn't the only occasion where such things happened, where he would kind of force himself upon Owen's show and kind of these weird struggle sessions, and even then kind of essentially dropping guests on him when that wasn't how he structured his show for the day. Because, I mean, I don't know, when I have a guest for this show, I sort of plan logistically around that, like even up into the topics. Because it's like, if it's somebody that like they have nothing to say about this, I know it's not up their wheelhouse, I'm not going to do it. Or if there's some topic I wouldn't normally talk about that's right up their wheelhouse, well, then now we're going to talk about it today. But anyways, let's get into, let's say our good mornings. Let's pop in. I know I saw some of you guys in the chat saying, well, oh my God, this gay shit. Yeah, I know. But hey, that was what this part's for. But now we're going to get into some foreign policy, and then we'll get into the main topic, some of the Epstein stuff, some of the interesting stuff going on. Good morning, Andrew Jacobs. He said, good night to the rich man Cernovich, who didn't blow up a tranny. Good night. I'm not going to bed. He must have said good morning. Must have meant good morning. Good morning, Mulgara. He says he has sun sickness from the sunburns I got at the Massie press conference on Wednesday. But hey, glad you were able to make it, bud. Was it Wednesday? I thought that was... No, yeah, that was right. That is Wednesday. Man, doing a daily show just makes my days all blur together. Good morning, King David. Good morning, Adrian Bwody. Good morning, Noname. Good morning, Boomer Sooner. Good morning, Queen Calnads. Good morning, Tom33. Good morning, John Doe. Good morning, Comment Mama. Good morning, Eddie Graham. Good morning, Marna Mac. She says good morning to the Nigtards. Eddie said good morning to the morning boys. Good morning, Kimberly there. Good morning, Bug Fights. He says nigga Heil Hitler. Good morning, Soul Explorer Coaching. He says in 3 parentheses, Adam Egat. I actually don't know that reference. But, all right. Good morning, Tony Chin. He says Alex getting too lit off that methylene blue cult Kool-Aid for sure. Good morning, Esfully agreeing, saying those tariffs worked, huh? Rise to Liberty, good morning. Good to see you here, bud. He's saying he got dinged for Oprah for his use of the interview with Dave Chappelle. When I broke down why Dave Chappelle actually left, turns down Oprah and Bill Cosby threatened Dave's life. Yeah. Good morning, Daz W. Good morning, Tucker Delay. Good morning, everybody. Good morning, Bricktop. Says, seems like someone told Alex to water down Owen's message. It sure does. Good morning, everybody. What else we got? Good morning, Nevsky. Says Harrison Smith talks about the same stuff as Owen from what I've seen. I think Owen is just way more pessimistic and feminine. Perhaps. I mean, I guess that would be, if I had to guess, a little bit I've seen of everyone. Harrison, he does seem to talk about a lot of these things. So, but yeah, I guess he would be a little more, I don't know, upbeat. Soul Explorer says high level cringe. It is high level cringe. I agree. This is why I hesitated to even cover this stuff, but whatever. I was sitting on some info, and hey, what better time? I mean, hey, a lot of people filed in for it, so whatever. Here's Tom. He says, I don't watch InfoWars, but I love Alex regardless of whether or not he's an op. This is cringe, though I really don't understand what's even going on here. Yeah. And I get that too. Like, you mean, like loving Alex as a meme is a different thing than like loving him as some sort of honest actor out there or something. I understand that, the entertainment value. Like, I love George Santos, like the guy that went to, if you guys remember him, that politician, that guy was a hoot. Now I don't know if I'd necessarily stand by any sort of moral things about him whatsoever. I don't think he's a good person, but boy, is he not funny. Yeah. Good morning. Who else we got in here? Everyone's saying it's boomer cringe. Yes, it is. Good morning, Jacob Bilski. The only thing not fake is the gay. Good morning. Good morning, Mega Nerd, saying he likes this slop, the Trump slop. Once again, to go to that too. I also do kind of enjoy it. It's kind of funny and fun, but it is also, there is an underside of creepy there. A little bit of creepy. All right. Somebody's arguing with women today. Don't do that. Good morning, Recon Scout. Said AI looking Alex. Owen jumping ship. What else we got? Good morning, Jesus Hendricks, saying it's not theater. I actually agree. It doesn't seem like it to me. Saying Rise to Liberty agrees. Just seems, yeah, Alex is nuts. Jesus says, Alex is compromised in some way, but almost everyone else at InfoWars legit, and they don't know better. That's the funny thing is that's actually kind of probably. I mean, I don't know if I actually don't necessarily know if Alex is compromised. I mean, I probably lean towards he probably is, but obviously I don't know. So yeah, but it is weird. It's funny. There was a similar, obviously, once again, I guess there at least was, maybe it's less so now, but we've talked about like Tim Katz on the show. It had a similar dynamic before. Not that I'm saying Tim is necessarily compromised either, although we know some things about the Netanyahu meetings and stuff that maybe some people get a little conspiratorial about, and I don't know, perhaps there's something there. I don't know. So I don't know, but there's a similar dynamic there too, where they had a lot of great people. Like I love Shane over there. Brett's great. Cassandra, who used to work there, was great. What was her name? The chick. I guess she's super sweet. I can't remember her name. Pretty girl. God, I can't remember. Just really sweet girl. She was with her on the Brett episode. She's with the Quartering now. I feel bad I can't remember her name. But anyways, they have a lot of really great people that work there. I mean, Chris Carr is cool. I mean, most people I interact with, they're cool. Luke's fair. I mean, I never met him personally, but Luke's like kind of generally fairly based, I guess. But and then you got fucking Tim. I mean, I guess Phil used to at least seem to be better until the Jews got involved. I guess I don't know. But anyways, I just find it funny that there does seem to be a dynamic a lot of times. So it's now, am I saying these people once again? I want to seat this, and I have no idea between any of these people or any of these structures, whether they are compromised or not. But you do bring up a good point in that, like, that a lot of times they do gravitate to some decent people to them. And I don't know, it almost seems like maybe that's a function of kind of that could be a thing of like, hey, we want to keep those people from doing other things because let's be really have control. I don't know. It is interesting. But it also could just be the fact that if you are a larger content creator, I guess you're going to naturally try to subsume smaller, good content creators that are up and coming. So no reason to put a conspiratorial spin on it either. Good morning, Mike Mortal. He said, yeah, this is real anger disguised as theater. I agree. Yes, that's weird. Good morning, everybody. Good morning, Alien Big Cat says, so what mad shit happened today? We got some stuff to go through. I was watching 10 minutes of InfoWars Game Aneurysm. How can someone watch 4 hours of this? Yeah, I know, it is crazy. I feel bad even making you guys watch this. Sorry. It is what it is. Good morning, No Hablo. Anyone else getting flooded with CDC cope propaganda? No, actually I'm the opposite. I've literally in Florida, I don't know the specifics of it yet, but they're talking about like literally removing vaccine stuff for the school stuff. So I don't know what's going on with that. I need to look into that. It's pretty fucking wild, little base. But all right, let's keep going. Who else we got? Man, a lot of y'all in there. I sound like Beetlejuice with my Alex impersonation. I can see that. All right, good morning, Bobo. I think it's first I'm saying good morning, Che Coho. It is a time waste. I agree. Although I do think there is some level of substance to keeping track of the influencers of value or that seem to have shreds of honesty, because I think it's important, because to me I see this and this gives me a little bit of a minor indicator that perhaps Owen's a real boy. Not that I'm necessarily ever going to interact with him or whatever. Who knows? Maybe I will. I have no idea. Or maybe some information that comes through the Owen pipeline comes across to me at some point, and now I will have that impression of him. So I don't know. I think it's somewhat important, and as well the other people that I talk to this about. So I don't know. I think it's kind of important to somewhat keep track of who's fucking shit and who's not, especially when they are people that. While I do think a lot of these people might have some level of artificiality into their reach, they are still reaching people. So I mean, it's worthwhile to point out that, like, you know, when there are people of value in this realm, and then also when there are people that perhaps you should be wary of. Good morning, Evan. Good morning. Alex will always be a legend. Yes, he will. I agree. We don't have to take that away from him. So good morning, Cubertimo. Good morning, William Miller. Said Tim sold his ass faux show. Hannah Claire. Thanks, Mulgara. I couldn't think of her name. She's a sweetheart. I like her. She's really nice. Since Mulgara says, I can't hate the dude on Phil. I grew up in All That Remains. He's always been super cool to me. Yeah, I don't know. I maybe just because I do commentary and maybe I get too emotionally attached to some of these things, but I really am just like, fuck that guy. Because I get it. I love All the Rain too. That was like the soundtrack of my junior summer. I fucking loved that thing. If I'm gonna list my 5 favorite albums, All That Remains, Fall of Ideals probably is top 5. I'm not sure exactly where, but he's in there. So yeah, but at the same time, it's kind of like, to be fair, once again, I don't watch all of his content, so maybe I'm getting some I don't know. I feel like I've seen enough to go, just to be fucking disgusted, to be honest. So yeah. All right, let's keep going. Oh, here we go. Oh, so we got Jacob already fulfilling his producer duties even more so. He's messaging me a breakdown of how to use the Fair Use Act. This is what producers do. Hey, retard, this is what you need to know. Good morning, Jade 2. Alex Jones, a tranny lover, CIA. Yeah, that's a little bit of, I guess, a little inside info for you guys if you guys want to go that route. I don't know where Blair White's at these days, because I know that's exactly what you're referring to. Everyone points out all those photos of Alex Jones and the tranny and Alex or in Blair or whatever. I'm kind of alluding there's something going on there, which I don't know. Who knows? I mean, but I don't put a whole lot of stock in that. But I had a fairly large, let me see if I can find it actually. I'm not going to find the specific one, but I can show you the one that did pretty good numbers the other day. I had a post, and she actually liked it. I thought it was really odd. And it was kind of a telling of like where she is. And given that, I know this sounds super gay, but given that Twitter now is the likes are hidden, I do think this is somewhat important because it gives you an insight into, I don't know, where they're at. Let me see if I can fucking find it. It's the one I said. It was the one I said the other day where I was, for those who follow me, where I was shitting on Phil. So she liked that. So, I mean, whatever. So I can't find the tweet. It's too far back in there. Oh, here it is, right here. I'll show you. It's this tweet I did the other day. It's because you remember that day we did the 45-minute breakdown, as well as we shouldn't have, of the Alex Stein crash out. Although actually, I think it was valuable. I think it's valuable, once again, for the reasons I just gave a minute ago, because this, once again, shows Alex is a real boy, or likely a real boy. And, yeah, I put here, from this whole thing, you guys can go back and watch that episode if you want, but I forget which one it was. It was a couple days ago, Morning Dump. It says, if you come away from this and see Alex as the villain as opposed to little Phil and his army of clucking hens, I can only assume you're pro-evil or unbelievably retarded or both. And then I put big W for Alex, big L for Phil. I said the women here are mostly irrelevant. And Blair White liked that, so I thought that was particularly interesting. So for those, I don't know. I don't like ever watch her content or anything. I know she's a big name, but I just thought, I don't know what to make of that. All right. She got cut off her dick and got mega bass. That's what being a dude does to you, I guess. All right, let's keep going through. Yeah, so boom, boom, boom. All right, cool. Let's get into. We spent way too long on that too. See, I knew I shouldn't have fucking done Alex Jones content. All right, let's get into some foreign policy. Let me see. Let me find it. Here we go. All right, here's the latest in the Aguilar ordeal. And we covered some of his stuff yesterday because there was what was it? Supposedly they found Amir, the little boy. For those who don't recall, Aguilar is what is he? He's the former Green Beret. I believe he retired as a lieutenant colonel. Did over 20 years, special forces, obviously Green Beret. Pretty storied career, and he went over to Gaza to assist GHF in essentially providing aid for the Palestinians, and he was absolutely disgusted by what he saw, and he came back and has done multiple interviews since then. I believe currently the only whistleblower who's not anonymous, but there's at least one more other whistleblower aside from him that's come out. I think there might have actually, in this story, there might actually have been another one. No, actually, never mind. Only one of them was. Anyways, he recently went to a Senate hearing and got arrested for speaking his word. But there also was that story about Amir, which we will go into, which apparently there was a whole big Daily Wire story and everyone's running with, Amir is alive, which, great. That's awesome if that's true. But we'll get into that because that's kind of been shoved upon us as a sort of way to undercut Aguilar's story, but even then it doesn't. But we'll get into the latest with him. This is from the dissenter, Kevin Gostela. It says, off the jail, Gaza aid whistleblower arrested for interrupting Senate hearing. So 2 U.S. military veterans, including a GHF whistleblower, were arrested for interrupting a Senate Foreign Affairs Committee hearing. They said the U.S. government is complicit in the Israeli government's genocide in Gaza and were quickly removed by U.S. Capitol Police. GHF whistleblower Anthony Aguilar stood up. You have an obligation to the Constitution of the United States. Former U.S. Army Intelligence Josephine Guilbeault also spoke up. Israel is ethnically cleansing Gaza. They're building a concentration camp. Senate Foreign Affairs Committee Chairman James Risch answered or declared off to jail. And when he heard Guilbeault, someone else is anxious to go to jail, he even asked an officer if there was a person filming Aguilar and Guilbeault. Though it does not appear that the person recording Aguilar and Guilbeault was arrested, that certainly was the implication behind Risch's question. The hearing was convened to present ambassador nominations. We don't usually have this happen here, but it happens, Risch marked. In fact, with Code Pink and other groups active on Capitol Hill, police are rather used to this type of dissent against war and human rights atrocities. When police handcuffed and escorted the military veterans, Aguilar said the U.S. Congress is paying for the death of children. When the United States Congress comes after veterans, they will come after you. Every American sitting at home right now needs to realize that you are paying for genocide, Aguilar added. Guilbeault also continued to protest. They are complicit in the slaughter of babies, she said as an officer put her in handcuffs. Risch, who has accepted over $250,000 in campaign contributions from pro-Israel lobbying groups, recessed the hearing so the racket in the hallway could be cleared by police. It's distracting. As the hearing reconvened, Risch quipped to one of the nominees, "Be glad you're not going where they're going." Then he grinned. Journalist Marisa Kabas, who published at the Handbasket, reported that Aguilar was taken to jail and held in isolation for a few hours before he was released. Aguilar is a former Green Beret who was a contractor for UG Solutions, which partnered with GHF to help deliver humanitarian aid. He witnessed war crimes committed by GHF and saw firsthand why Doctors Without Borders has called their operations a deadly aid distribution scheme. By the way, I watched an interview the other day where, he gave another story that I guess he hadn't told somewhere else before, because someone was asking about these stories of, because there was a story in Gaza about people being disappeared. I know it was kind of similar to the story we covered yesterday on Syria, where it was like 7 people in some bordering area got just abducted by the IDF, just gone. Well, apparently they're doing it in Gaza, which is, let's be real, a little less unsurprising. When I hear that, it's kind of like, well, no shit, they are. Not that I support that, but it's like, that's okay. I guess I never really thought of it, but like once you mention it, I'm kind of like, well, duh. Yeah, with all the other horrifying things they're doing, of course they're just abducting people and unaliving him. Well, he gave a situation where they abducted some guy to detain him, to question him. I forget the specifics of the story. I think it was on Breaking Points for those who are interested, and I believe it was probably like shortly before this, because he was talking about getting ready to go to somewhere, and he was saying you'll probably see more from me later. So I think he knew that he was going to do this, so which is good for him. But anyways, he claimed that they detained the guy, and then by virtue of taking him and detaining him, that essentially made it so that when they had to release him, it was no longer the normal time when they would be able to go to and fro, and now you are in an active war zone. Because that's what they do with these. They put them in the middle of war zones. And then they just give these random fucking times that just you never fucking know when it really is. Just kind of, this, that. And then you're supposed to come during these times and supposed to trust that during these times they're not going to, which I don't know if they do even reduce the shooting during those period of times. But point being, essentially, if you're not during those windows, it's 100% basically a death, a death warrant, essentially. If you're out and about in those wide, out in the open during those areas, they literally have drones that patrol the areas and fucking murder people. Like, we're not even talking about like human actors. The idea of that you're even which they do that too. There are perfect examples of this as well. But it's like, you don't even have to be like, oh, they wouldn't do that. That's immoral. Like, no, they just have drones or like anyone in this area, fucking shoot them. But anyways, one of those guys, they detained him. And then I forget what. I think he might have actually been. He might have been the guy they detained to talk about. Nah, that's a separate thing. Anyways, no, they detained the guy, and then when they went to go release him, he essentially cried and begged and pleaded to like essentially, I don't know, hold them on later or something. Like he basically said, like, I'm going, like, if you let me, like, if I go now, I will die, because they essentially were like, oh, you got to leave. And so basically, of no fault to his own, he just got kind of randomly abducted by the IDF and then gets forced to release. Because I actually think he said it might have been the contractors who abducted him, if I recall correctly. Go watch the interview to get the specifics. And I think their threat was that he either had to leave or they would just have the IDF come get him, which both are certain death, essentially. And essentially basically got forced out, essentially bawling and crying, begging not to. And then, according to Aguilar, once again, it was one, I think he said he wasn't able to confirm, like, that actually was death, but shortly after he got forced out, you hear the pew, 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 or I don't know how many shots the drones shoot off, and pretty obvious what happened. So that's the kind of hell we're dealing with. So let's watch this video right here. I think maybe might be something more to it here.
Chairman Risch.
Actually, here's the recording.
Shaheen, and distinguished members of this committee.
Sorry, it's a little quiet.
It is an honor to appear.
All right. Hang on just a second. Off to jail.
There's a genocide! There's a genocide! Stop! Genocide!
Officer, have you got somebody filming back there? Have you got somebody filming back there? Well, please continue.
It is an honor to appear before you as President Donald Trump's nominee to serve as the next U.S. ambassador to Costa Rica. We traveled to Mexico and to Costa Rica, where we worked alongside property owners to build a home for their families.
All right. Someone else anxious to go to jail. We don't usually have this happen here, but it happens, and we haven't.
Well, you can't really make out too much what they're saying, but I mean, obviously I read it to you. I would have liked to know what they were talking about. Let's see. Let's start over. See if we can tell.
Chairman Risch, Ranking Member Shaheen, and distinguished members of this committee. It is an honor to appear.
All right. Hang on just a second.
Yeah, I mean, I will say, like, I don't know exactly what they were talking about here, but this is some ambassador to Costa Rica or some shit. So, like, I mean, I guess it would have been better if maybe it was something specifically more on the nose, because it just kind of seems odd. But either way, okay, cool, I guess. At least they're doing something. Then more on the Amir thing. I know me and Mel talked about this yesterday, kind of the specifics of kind of what he said, and then also this Amir thing going around about whether he's alive or whatever. Well, Mel found his exact quote, because even I was like, I'm pretty sure he said something along the lines, it's possible he's alive, and if he is, that'd be great. And Mel found the exact quote. He said, pulled from one of the many articles that Shrew Cassie Akiva has written about the story. So even pointing out that I haven't read the Cassie Akiva article, the one about Amir being alive, but that's the Daily Wire worker. But I mean, I don't know, I can kind of assume what it says. He's very upfront about not being able to verify if the child was dead or not, so I don't know what kind of gotcha these dickheads think they have here. And here is the quote she shared. So this is from Aguilar. It says, I saw Amir's body on the ground, having fallen such drop to the ground amidst the gunfire from the IDF, which was being fired toward the crowd as a crowd control measure to keep them moving in a westerly direction to the Morag corridor as they left the site, Aguilar said. It has always been my position that he and others were dead. The body wasn't moving. Others ran or limped away. I nor anyone could verify that he was dead. Considering that he has not been found and that he has not been seen, it is safe to say that my assessment is correct. Aguilar added, however, if he were to be alive, that would be a blessing, yet it does not excuse the firing of warning shots at, toward, or near a group of unarmed civilians. And he's correct. As me and Mel pointed out, like kind of jokingly, like, oh my God, Amir's alive? Call it off. We're just kidding. It's not a genocide. It's not that bad. Like, okay, like, I'm genuinely think it's good that Amir is alive. So it's like, okay. And then late in the one other story and kind of the back and forth of the proposals, apparently there's a Palestinian American meteor that says he gave Hamas a U.S. proposal for the permanent Gaza ceasefire. So that's the current. So I'll go and read this article. So Bishara Baba, who's been involved in Gaza ceasefire negotiations, has said that he passed to Hamas a U.S. proposal for a deal that would involve the release of all remaining Israeli captives in Gaza and an end to Israel's genocidal war on the Strip. He said that he passed the offer to Hamas before Trump said in a post on Truth Social on Wednesday that Hamas must give back all 20 hostages, a reference to the remaining Israelis held in Gaza who are believed to be alive. Baba said that Hamas was initially skeptical of the U.S. proposal, but after Trump's post, the group released a statement that reiterated its willingness to release all Israeli hostages as part of a comprehensive deal that would involve a permanent ceasefire and Israeli withdrawal from Gaza. Now, according to Baba, he said when Hamas saw the president's tweet, they were convinced that this was official. He said on Wednesday evening to Al Arabiya, according to Dropsite News, Hamas's reaction was almost immediately. They agreed to this deal. They wanted a comprehensive deal. Let's hand over all the hostages and receive a certain amount of Palestinian prisoners in return. And at the same time, the war should end. And of course, Netanyahu dismissed it as more spin. But he says, well, Baba acknowledged the deal was unlikely unless the U.S. put pressure on Israel. So what I know is that the American side has increased its involvement in the process. And naturally, it all comes back to the kind and amount of pressure on Israel to strike any deal. Without American pressure, nothing will happen. And unfortunately, he's correct. So this is what he said. He said, what's on the table now is an American offer. Is America ready to clash with Israel to implement this American vision or not? I don't know. The president wants to end the war in Gaza. President Trump wants to end the war in Gaza, Baba added. I wish I believed you, Baba. Unfortunately, I'm not sure I do. We have Israel's defense minister again threatening to unleash biblical plagues on Yemen. This is Israel Katz. This is what he had to say. So the Houthis are firing Israel's missiles at Israel again. A plague of darkness, a plague of the firstborn. We will complete all 10 plagues. So, and just more of this creepy religious language. Then we got Israeli intelligence data saying militants only account for 1 in 4 Gaza detainees. And now we're talking detainees. So that's 25% according to their own data of the people who have been detained are actually militants. So the other 75% innocent, just there, non-militants being detained for arbitrary reasons. Also, the Israeli military is claiming they now control 40% of Gaza City. So time's a ticking. They don't have much left. Now here's one story I really wanted to go through the guys. I was debating whether to do it or not. This story is, Jesus Christ, it's super fucked up. Give me a second. Actually, I got a StreamYard glitched out, so I need to bring it back up. Give me a second. Here we go. This audio wasn't working. All right, here we go. All right, it's back up. But there was this recently. I think we've covered this on the show forever ago. I think maybe more details may have come out by now, but either way, another reason to cover it back up again. Cover it again is the story of Hind Rajab, which is a little girl who was murdered by the IDF. Apparently, it's been her story has been turned into a movie. It's at the 82nd Venice Film Festival that it was just aired recently, and it received a 22-minute standing ovation, the longest at the festival. There are names like Brad Pitt, Joaquin Phoenix associated with it, so this is kind of a big Hollywood story. From my understanding, they recollected, they essentially from the phone call. One of the famous things about Hind is they got the 911 phone call as what made it particularly even more devastating. I'm not gonna lie to you, I cried going back over this story's information this morning. It super fucked up, especially the call. So I'm gonna try and do my best to keep my shit together for this. But they made it into a movie. I think it was through. Let's go to the Wikipedia, and then maybe we can kind of do this backwards. Let's start with who Hind is. So we could use the Wikipedia. This is a Wikipedia version, so take that for what it's worth both ways. I mean, It's not a reliable source of information in the sense that I don't know anybody can put anything in here. But at the same time, we've covered a number of stories on this show about to what degree the Zionists have taken hold of Wikipedia to ridiculous degrees. Like, there are literally videos out there where you can find former prime ministers giving presentations on how to scam Wikipedia. So, in favor of Zionism. Anyways, let's go ahead and get into this. Hind Rami Iyad Rajab, a 5-year-old Palestinian girl in the Gaza Strip who was killed by Israeli forces during the Israeli invasion of the Gaza Strip, which also killed 6 of her family members and 2 paramedics coming to her rescue. Rajab and her family were fleeing Gaza City when their vehicle was shelled, killing her uncle, aunt, and 3 cousins, with Rajab and another cousin surviving and contacting Palestine Red Crescent Society to ask for help while noting that they were being attacked by an Israeli tank. The cousin was later also killed, and Rajab was left stranded in the vehicle for hours on the phone as paramedics from PRCS attempted to rescue her. Both Rajab and the paramedics were later also found killed on 10 February after an Israeli withdrawal. So, to rehash that, essentially her family fled Gaza City, and her car that she was in came under fire, and she had her uncle, her aunt, her cousins, and her were all leaving, and every single one of her family members were shot to death with her in the car. She managed to live, at least for a while, hiding amongst their bodies. She called the police. They coordinated a whole response. I guess some of the story of this was compiled through the different people, the operators and such, and they coordinated through IDF a rescue. The IDF was fully aware of her there. And as the paramedics are approaching, they apparently are, there's, statements to the effect of that they, as they're arriving, they're hearing gunshots. And you even hear it on the call. You can hear the moment where she clearly dies. So the final gunshots, and she's crying and she's terrified. And it's a little girl. And there's 20,000 people have died over here, and this is just one of them. So I mean, it's just fucking awful to even think about this situation. And then the people who came to save her were fucking killed. So, I mean, I don't know. Just can't get much bleaker than that. I don't know if I'm able to make it through fucking reading, because I was like, I have dialed up the 911 call. I don't know if I can do that, because just the situation itself, you're like, Jesus Christ. So, I don't know. It's just wild. Israel claimed that there were not any troops present in the neighborhood, denied carrying out the attack. However, this was refuted by the Washington Post and Sky News investigations, relying on satellite imagery and visual evidence, which concluded that a number of Israeli tanks were indeed present, and one had likely fired 335 rounds in the car that Rajab and her family had been in, with tank operators being able to see that the car had civilians, including children, in it. The forensic architecture investigation also concluded that an Israeli tank had also likely attacked the ambulance that came for Rajab. In the aftermath of the killing, Western media outlets were criticized for the coverage of the incident, including for not attributing who killed Rajab and for their adultification of her. American student protesters and renamed overtaken buildings in honor of Rajab, such as Hindy's Hall and Columbia University, drawing increased attention to the incident. So that's her story. I feel like it's worth being shared. I'm glad it's getting the Hollywood treatment. I guess I'm a little bit concerned about the Michael Tracy's of the world that will attack it for where it probably has been fictionalized in some parts, maybe. Because anytime, I mean, let's be real, it's, to some degree, anytime you take these sort of things, you got to fill in some blanks. So, but like I said earlier, I think they compiled a lot of this from the different statements, and then even then, apparently they used the actual 911 call in the video. So it's a pretty awful stuff. But this is the they're making a Hollywood video. Let's watch the see how it's received at Venice. Just I don't know, it's a little heartening, I think. right. Well, what's that? I don't know. I got a little together. Maybe I can do it. And then here is the. I mean, someone made an animation out of it. I'll see if I can make it through this. I'll try to shut off the emotional side of me. Let's play this. Here's the 911 call. It says, "Take me, come." This was. Do I come and take you? Honestly, I'm very scared. Come. Call someone to come get me. Promise. Honey, okay. Sorry, I'm going to have to read in a monotone voice because I can't put any emotion to this reading whatsoever. So, sorry if I sound cold, but I just can't or I'll cry. So, let's keep going. Of course, my darling, I'm coming to get you. Now, Uncle from the Crescent, he is currently coordinating so that we can come and get you. Is there any artillery activity around you? Let me turn this down a little bit so it's not so distracting. Yes, take me. My darling, I swear I want to take you. But it's not in my hand now. Alright, I can't do it. You guys go watch this on your own. This is ridiculous. But yeah, at the end, you do get to see just her screaming and crying as you hear a volley of fire. It's fucking awful. So I can't do it. I thought I could do it. So yeah, I can't do it. So we're moving on. And then, yeah, you still have people try to claim that there were other people in it. So, you know, here's Mel sharing that, and a little fight there. All right, let's move on. We got Senator Rand Paul criticizes the Trump administration's bombing of boat near Venezuela. So yeah, so he's hopped on that. So here's what he had to say. Oh, sorry, I got to bring up the tab. My bad.
Is not engaged in the fact that U.S. officials describe the individuals killed by the U.S. strike as narco-terrorists does not transform them into lawful military targets. The U.S. is not engaged in an armed conflict with Venezuela or Trinidad. The strike runs afoul to the right to life under international human rights law. So you know, the president basically said that these guys are terrorists. You can kill terrorists. You can't, I guess, kill drug dealers just for dealing drugs, right?
Well, this is, brings up a question. So, we assume these people were bad people and drug dealers, but if they were caught off the coast of Miami, we would stop the boat. If they don't shoot at us, we don't shoot at them. They're confiscated, they're put in jail, and then they go through a trial to prove what they were doing. And if they have 20 pounds of cocaine or heroin or something on the boat, they'll be convicted. The reason we have trials, though, and we don't automatically assume guilt is, what if we make a mistake and they happen to be people fleeing Venezuela, the Venezuelan dictator? I think probably that, we had the facts correct. We got bad people here. But that's the reason, like off our coast, it isn't our policy just to blow people up. We don't blow up ships entering our waters unless they're, hell-bent on attacking another ship, or unless they are resisting with gunfire. Right. We arrest people. So it is difficult, and it's hard because obviously they're bad people. So people they want something bad to happen to them. But typically, even the worst people in our country, if we accuse somebody of a terrible crime, they still get a trial, basically. They get a lawyer, they get their day in court.
Yeah. But if we're at war, we blow up bad guys all the time. I think that's what they're saying. This is a war, and we do have. I mean, obviously, you know the numbers of how many people in this country die from illicit drugs that come in from Central and South America. A lot of them have fentanyl and other very dangerous ingredients in them. I mean, people drop dead all the time. I mean, they kill 100,000 people a year on a bad year. 100,000 Americans dying. That does kind of feel like a war.
It's also why in our country war is the exception. So when we have a war, it was intended that we would declare war, be a big vote of our Congress. And then at that point in time, we say, if that enemy, if we are at war, let's say with Venezuela, then we say their ships are, free to shoot them anywhere they are, anytime. And so we kill them off their coast, we kill them in their country, but we've declared war on them. It's a little harder here because this is a crime and this is a criminal syndicate. So look, once again, no love lost for the people who died that are trying to infiltrate our country with this filth. But at the same time, you have to realize it's not as simple as it may sound that, let's just kill drug dealers, because sometimes you have to figure out who people are before you kill them. Right. That's a problem.
Yeah.
That's a good point. Well, I guess we're taking notes from Israel. I guess we don't give a shit when we kill people anymore. We just fucking do it. And then on that note, here's my buddy Kyle saying, go follow people's Rumble channels. We covered this yesterday. I didn't put two and two together though here because I think we did talk Google was doing, but I forgot Google is like, I think they own YouTube now, so I didn't put two and two together. We talked about a deal with Google, but I mean, I guess I assumed some weirdness, some censorship coming down the pike, but yeah, coming down the pike. But we have, here's a post from Air Force Post saying, or I always say Air Force Post, America First. I don't know, I always see AF. My mind fills in Air Force. Fucking too many years of that shit. Anyways, Prime Minister Netanyahu's office arranged a $45 million deal with Google to flood YouTube with ads and spend another $3 million on X as part of Israel's 6-month Hasbro campaign. The propaganda operation was aimed at denying and misrepresenting the famine in Gaza. Now, I know they're saying just ads, but hey, make sure to go follow me on Rumble. Just saying. I wouldn't be surprised if it's a little more than just ads. They've shown themselves willing to sell out the American people in the past, so I don't expect they would do any different at this point in time for money. All right, now let's get into the Epstein stuff. Actually, let's roll through the chat. Let me see if there's anything new in there. Saw a bunch of you guys there. See what you guys say. Hit the like button, people. It's like No Hablo says. There's more people than that in here. So there's only 30. There's way more than 30 people in here. I could see that there's like 6. I see like 60 of y'all on YouTube. So go with those likes in there, you fuckers. You're on Rumble. That's why. So hit the like on Rumble as well. So Kyle did have Dave DeCamp on yesterday, so you can go check that out. Let me see. All right. All right. Let's get into the Epstein stuff, and make sure to follow me on Rumble. Keep debating, going back and trying to read the Hind thing. I do see some of you guys like saying stop the stuff porn, and I get it. I'm like torn on it because I do think it's like, I don't know, what am I doing to myself? But I do think it's, I think it matters. These stories do need to get out. I don't know. I mean, I think we shouldn't be okay with that. Are essentially paying for these sorts of things. So, but let's get into the what we're here for. Some Epstein updates, and we'll get into some of the stuff I put in, like Massie with Phoenix. This kind of ties in. I saw this was right before we started, probably maybe a half hour or less. I think before we started, actually maybe about an hour before we started. So. That Trump tweeted or truthed out or whatever. This is what he had to say. Said the confused and badly failing Democratic Party did nothing about Jeffrey Epstein while he was alive except befriend him, socialize with him, travel to his island, and take his money. They knew everything there was to know about Epstein, but now, years after his death, they, out of nowhere, are seeming to show such love and heartfelt concern for his victims. Does anybody really believe that? Where were they during his very public trials and for all those years before his death? The answer is nowhere to be found. The now dying, after the DOJ gave thousands of pages of documents in full compliance with a very comprehensive and exacting subpoena from Congress. Epstein case was only brought back to life by the radical left Democrats because they are doing so poorly with the lowest poll numbers in the history of the party, while the Republicans are doing so well, among the highest approval numbers the party has ever had. The Dems don't care about the victims, as proven by the fact that they never did before. This is merely another Democrat hoax, just like Russia, and all the others, in order to deflect and distract from the great success of a Republican president and the record-setting failure of the previous administration and the Democrat Party. The DOJ has done its job. They have given everything requested of them. It's time to end the Democrat Epstein hoax and give the Republicans credit for the great, even legendary job they are doing. Make America great again. Fuck you. And I don't even really need to rebut this. The stuff we're going to go into is going to rebut it all on its own. But I want to remind you guys, I know as of late there's been a lot of talk about Freudian slip there, Trump's bad health, possibly, maybe this could come into play here in the future. What would happen then? What would happen to all this stuff? Maybe, there's some people out here that have a dim-witted view that think, maybe that'll be cool when JD comes in. There's a lot of people who are still on this idea that JD is the next chosen one. Well, let's go ahead and see what he has to say about the Epstein list. No, we gotta bring it back up. My bad.
Don't believe you. Well, Jeffrey Epstein. Now that you're in power, you say that there is no client list. Why do you think it is that so many of your own supporters don't believe you?
Well, I think what the president has said, first of all, he's told the Department of Justice to do full transparency here, to release what we have, to release the credible information. And I think you saw Todd Blanche just a couple of days ago actually release the 9-hour transcript of interview that he did with Ghislaine Maxwell. What the president has also said is that we've got a whole host of things that we can focus on. You can both order the Department of Justice to do full transparency. You can also ask the Department of Justice to enforce the law. You can also ask the National Guard to make sure that DC's streets are safe. You don't have to do one of these things or the other. So I don't think that it's a distraction, especially when I think the president has ordered the administration to be more transparent about this than any other issue. Now, yes, I'm certainly aware that there are folks, even some of our own supporters, who have criticized the response of the president of the Department of Justice. But I think if you look at this in full and you give this the proper amount of time, what you're going to find is that the administration has been far more open and transparent about this issue and many others than any other administration. We have to remember this entire thing happened. This entire story blew up during the Biden administration. The Biden administration had 4 years to release this information. They did absolutely nothing. The president has actually directed his Department of Justice to release whatever information that we can, and also to go further. I mean, to talk to Ghislaine Maxwell for 9 hours, to see if there are any other leads that we can uncover, to actually identify some crimes that we can prosecute. But again, as the president has always said, we're going to let the Department of Justice be driven by the facts and the law. We're not going to prosecute people just because other people want us to. We're only going to prosecute people if they committed a crime. That's true in the Epstein situation, and that's true in a lot of other issues as well. That's why the president's focus on credibility here and the real evidence.
All right, so more of the same. Let's go into let's check this. Now there was me and Mel talked yesterday. We found some fucking post that did the dumb thing where it said a thing and then you completely left it and then had a video attached and you were like, this is almost certainly exactly the video of what they're talking about, and then it wasn't. So that's specifically in regards to, we were talking about where the claim came out that Marjorie Taylor Greene and Massie were going to read some of the names out. And so let's go ahead and let's watch this clip, because I think I may have found either the original or one of the originals, or at least a statement from one of the two kind of early on about that. So, because the video we played yesterday did not. So let's go and play this. I found this shortly before today's show, and this has actually had some interesting information in it. There's a little about 40-minute interview with James O'Keefe that Massie did, I believe, yesterday. So let's go and watch this.
One of the criticisms, I was watching the reaction to what you did yesterday, and a lot of the people say we have our own list. Some of the victims said that, right? We have and we're going to release it ourselves. One of the questions people have is why wouldn't they just release that right away, or even at your press conference?
Yeah, they addressed that at the press conference. Somebody asked them, and their first answer is, why do we have to release the list? Why won't the government release it?
On principle, they're saying the government should do it on principle.
The government should do it because they're responsible for enforcing the law. The victims aren't responsible for enforcing law. But the biggest reason they're not releasing the list, and I think I have a solution to this that came up at the press conference yesterday, but the biggest reason they're not releasing it is they could be sued into homelessness, like for defamation. So let's say they accuse somebody of something and then the government doesn't prosecute it, and they can't get all of this materials and discovery and whatnot. So then they get the countersuits happen, which has happened to these victims, and then they get blamed and they get defamed, and it's not worth their time. They also get threatened, they get followed by cars, around their neighborhoods, they get intimidated. So when they said they're going to compile their own list, they said we don't have plans to release it. My colleague Marjorie Taylor Greene stepped up to the microphone and reminded America that members of Congress have something.
Okay, never mind. I missed this little bit of context he said here. So actually, I guess it originally did come from Marjorie Taylor Greene, and it was in the thing or in the whatever. Because I know there was one of the victims said, "Oh, we would talk about making our own list." So I'm assuming later that maybe Marjorie said something like, "Oh, well, I don't know if you guys, but we can because we don't have to worry about whatever." But let's go and play.
In the Constitution, called speech or debate immunity, that's been rarely used, but it's always enforced, which is to say we can't be sued for anything we say on the floor of the House. So Marjorie Taylor Greene came up with the idea of if the victims have a list, we'll go to the floor and read the list, and we can't be sued or prosecuted for it. And I talked to Marjorie about that after the press conference, and we've got some ideas for doing that.
Do you think that a lot of,
All right, so there's that. Then on Trump's tweet just earlier, also literally like less than 10 minutes before, Massie put out a poll. Let's go ahead and refresh it because I'm sure this isn't up to date. So he put out a poll. He said, "Is it a hoax that Jeffrey Epstein was involved in underage sex trafficking, and there is unreleased evidence that would likely expose rich and politically connected perpetrators to indictments or convictions?" And this was put out like at 10:53, so almost 2 hours ago, and it is now up to 23,629 votes. And the current tally is 5.6% think the Epstein case is a hoax, and 94.4% think no, release the Epstein files. So I don't know, it's a pretty clear. I'm actually surprised it's as high as 5.6. And then more on this realm of stuff. Now, yesterday, I kind of am correcting. I put out, I guess you could almost say, I don't know if I'd say misinfo, because I didn't really buy this entirely. I don't even say misinfo would be the proper way to put it. Actually, I think it was released in that interview, the one I was just showing. We're going to show another clip from here in a minute from the O'Keefe interview. He, I believe, for the first time released this. Because see right here, here's a post that I'm sharing right here. It says, the government will redact every Republican while leaving every Democrat and liberal name visible on the Epstein client list, says acting deputy chief at DOJ Joseph Schnitt, per James O'Keefe. Now, obviously, that post right there, you go, holy shit, whoa. Every Republican will be redacted, and all the Democrat names will be visible. That is a crazy thing. An acting deputy chief, or says acting deputy chief, not even and, says acting deputy chief, kind of makes you think that like he's the acting deputy chief at that, at some important place or something. And this is at the DOJ, and the guy's name's Joseph Schnitt. And this is according to James O'Keefe. So then, like, I posted, like I said, I put excuse the fuck out of me, and then I put a picture of Hank Hill smoking a cigarette where it says, nigga, what? So then I went to look into it myself, kind of like, what the fuck? Like, that's such an insane claim. And it is, but there's a little bit of an asterisk here. Now, what I was getting at is this was from a, undercover, as James O'Keefe tends to do, interview. Kind of, I don't know, what's the word I'm looking for? Gumshoe. No, I don't even say gumshoe journalism. It's like, maybe not gotcha. Somewhere in between the two of them. It's a little dubious. I'm not the biggest fan of these sorts of things. I feel like it kind of, it's going to affect the info you get, because let's be real, this dude's, it's some chick. From my understanding, it's some chick this guy's on a date with. She has a hidden camera, and let's be real, he's trying to get laid. She probably came off acting super liberal. Super concerned about, Epstein stuff, and dude's trying to get pussy. So, filter things through that. So I do think that affects things. But so anyways, he's the one who said it. Then also I kind of allude to a little bit. He's the acting deputy chief of the Office of Enforcement Operations in the DOJ. Now, I don't really understand the structure of the DOJ that well. Maybe some of you guys do. But I'm not entirely sure that the degree to this guy really is in the know like that. Now, this guy did work over 20 years here. And I think I'm assuming he's probably getting damn near in his pension. Point being is I don't know to what degree this guy's even involved in these things. He's just kind of speaking generally on it. But I guess we'll watch some of this. But I'm not going to watch the full 8 minutes.
Those files do exist.
Yeah, thousands and thousands of pages of files. They'll redact every Republican or conservative person in those files, leave all the liberal, democratic people in those files.
And they visited that Maxwell person?
Yeah.
And also involved?
She got transferred to a minimum security prison too recently, which is against BOP policy because she's a convicted sex offender. They're offering her something to keep it on shut.
That was the acting deputy chief of the Office of Enforcement Operations, Joseph Schnitt, telling a stranger about the FBI and DOJ's handling of the Epstein files. Schnitt, who works at a high level inside the Department of Justice, goes on to comment on the inconsistent statements. Special treatment of Ghislaine Maxwell And the blatant.
Let's go ahead and cut ahead. I don't think he actually, if I recall, makes any statements that are like the fact that he like knows for sure. I don't think there's anything he said that you wouldn't know if you just closely followed the news or semi-closely followed the news. Now here is the response from him, this acting. This is from Joseph Schnitt, a deputy chief. It says down here, a special operations unit, Office of Enforcement Operations. Don't know what those things mean. That could be some super glowy shit, and maybe he's super involved in all this stuff, or it could just be some agency that has nothing to do with what's going on here. But anyways, it says Acting Director Polik. This is the response. He says, I met a woman named Skylar on Hinge, a dating app, in July 2025. Her profile is no longer findable. We had 2 dates, August 4th and August 16th. She claimed to be an au pair in Georgetown. I don't even really know what an au pair is. She gave no clues that she was a reporter or recording our dates. Had I a clue, the first date, isn't an au pair like a live-in Manny or something? Anyways, the first date would have ended immediately and there never would have been a second one. My profile indicated I did government work, but did not specify for which agency. I never discussed what I do at the DOJ. The comments I made were my own personal comments of what I've learned in the media, not from anything I've done or learned via work. I have no knowledge of the circumstances surrounding Miss Maxwell other than what is reported in the news. I also never divulged anything about what I do at work. I recall that she asked if I had any knowledge about Maxwell, and I specifically said I only know what's being reported in the media. So, I mean, I don't know if that last bit's true, because I don't remember in the course of the video if she did say if that was presented. Although, to be fair, I would say that's a little bit of unfair editing if you didn't include that, because you're trying to ham this up to be something. Because if he did say that to this chick and he is trying to talk, be like, oh, this is just, I don't really know anything, but I am just like kind of, this is just what I know, then yeah, this means nothing other than just this is the rumor mill going on. I mean, it really comes down to like knowing the structure of the BOP. If you were able to tell me that whatever he does is somehow integrally involved in this situation, then sure. But I'm sure there's all sorts of different divisions in the BOP. So not looking great. All right, more on Massie. Apparently he named the first billionaire in Epstein's black book for Epstein victims, John Paulson. Someone asked Grok to tell them about him. So here's one. It says Representative Massie cited Epstein's publicly available black book as his source, which lists John Paulson. He named Paulson in a closed House GOP meeting on September 3rd, 2025, and clarified it on X that day, referencing evidence he posted on X on August 7th, 2025. So, so someone says, so Massie's only regurgitating info that's been publicly available online for a year. And it says, yes. So that is true. Although, to be fair, I'm not sure how Massie even presented this. This was shown in a closed-door meeting that this was mentioned. So that's something that's being thrown out there, but I don't know to what degree it's really being acted as like this is the first name. I don't think that's the case. All right, as promised, here's the clip with Massie talking about Phoenix. Give me a second. Of course, StreamYard has to glitch out right now. Give me one moment. I will bring it up. Here we go. Here you go. All right, sorry about that. Let's go.
You and I spoke recently, and you told me a story, and if you could just recount it briefly to the extent you can share, because that was so fascinating, of going inside the SCIF. That's a secure compartmentalized information facility, and I think you were approving budgets, or some of it was classified.
Yeah.
You told me a story about bureaucrats. Can you just recount that story briefly?
So there's the classified annex to the budget. And a lot of my colleagues don't even know this. Like when they're voting for the classified annex, they don't even know that's what they're voting for. But if you're paying attention, you realize, oh, I've got 1 week, I can go read the classified annex in a SCIF. They don't allow you to bring pen and paper in. They don't allow you to take pen and paper out. You can't bring your phone in. You got to lock it in the locker.
You can't bring your staff in.
You can't bring your staff in. Imagine, when you get in there, you have no smartphone and you have no smart staff. So it's only your own wits. And you can't even bring a pencil and paper or a calculator. And they go in, they let you have a sneak peek at this budget, at the classified annex. And it's basically all the clandestine things that the U.S. government does. And I can say this, it's tens of billions of dollars. I can't give you the exact number. And it's mostly code words. And by the way, there's maybe only a dozen out of the 435 people who ever go down and look at this thing.
Code words?
Code words for each of the projects.
Like military projects?
Yeah, like, I don't know, Project Phoenix.
Okay.
So I'm sitting there reading this thing.
For those who aren't aware, Project Phoenix was the operation in Vietnam where they were, let's be real, it's essentially just Gladio in Vietnam. They were basically doing counterterrorism or however they want to seat it, or I don't know. Let's be real, they were a lot of times raiding villages, murdering people in the dead of night, doing all sorts of crazy, sometimes you might call it counterterrorism, but that's just terrorism. So that's basically what they're doing. This is where we get to, there's a lot of, I don't know, in the parapolitical world, Phoenix, I know that's kind of pretty close to the, integral to the telling, I guess, of the hypothesis of the program to kill idea and such like that. Because the idea being is this is kind of where they created killers and what spawned off from there and kind of all the different operations. But this is it's a tale as old as time. This is Gladio. This is Operation Condor. This is Northwoods. That's what he's talking about here. Operation Phoenix, where they were, during Vietnam, we were out there just fucking, murdering enemy combatants or sometimes even civilians to make it look like the enemy combatants did it. Just to even doing weird stuff like playing on supernatural tendencies in certain areas to horrify the people, make them think they're literally under attack by certain cultural zeitgeists, like supernatural cultural zeitgeists of some sort. I don't know, I can't even think of, I forget the specifics on it, but they fucked with these people. It was a horrible thing.
With three, I'll call them members of the committee staff, the Intel committee staff, watching me read this, but they're ostensibly they are there to help me understand it. So I'm reading this and I'm like, what is this Phoenix project that has $5 billion? And the three of them look at each other, the three who are responsible for supervising my observation of the budget, and two of them look at one dude and he looks at them and he gets up and leaves the room. And now there's two left. And he said, well, why did he have to leave the room? Well, Project Phoenix is above his level of classification. So he leaves the room, they bring out another binder that I'm sure most congressmen don't get to this other binder.
Probably 12, you said, going on a 400 or something?
Yeah. So then they open the other binder and they're like, well, here's Project Phoenix. And then, well, within Project Phoenix, there's Project, let's call it Nest Egg. I'm like, well, what's Project Nest Egg? And why is there $1 billion for it? And the two who are left in the room look at each other.
Notice how he called it, let's call it. I found that interesting. I have a feeling that meant that even the name was probably, he probably is not allowed to say the name of that or something. Let's go on.
And one of them leaves, and I'm like, let me guess, that the other person couldn't know about Project Nest Egg. Yep. So then they tell me about Project Nest Egg. Now, the only thing I have in there reference is a clock. And before I walked in, I had to remember what my next meeting was, and I'm looking at the clock, and I've played 20 questions just to get down into Project Phoenix. And there's probably more binders if I knew the right words to say, abracadabra, then I could get those binders. But this is how hard it is to know what's actually going on in our government.
Wow. How much time did you...
that is interesting because it is to think about if you are even a politician, if you are the idea of I'm going to make some change, what he just described, the crazy, arduous process you must go through to even get intel on specific things, and because he's saying they had to go to some skiff and then they had to be all right, what about this? And then for each subsequent digging deeper, some other guy had to leave the room and then they had to do this thing or that thing, and this is not a usable system.
Were you in that room for?
An hour, and
all of this in an hour for him to, sounds like to me the most he got to was the discovery of Operation Nest Egg, which even he said, let's call it that. If somebody else knows about an Operation Nest Egg, I just looked it up just now to see if that's a thing. nothing's coming up that I'm aware of. So if anyone knows what he's talking about there, because it sounds like some sort of sub project of Phoenix, if I had to guess. But anyways, point being is all that to find the perhaps hidden money in there. For what, two operations or an operation within an operation, and that took him an hour just for that, just to get probably the minimal information you got out of it. So yeah, you get why these people, and most of these people don't even give a shit. They're just trying to campaign for their next election. So you got everything against you.
Just trying to drill down in one little thing to understand it. Now, there was another, when I was doing that, there was another congressman in there with me, and he was like, how'd you know to ask for that? I'm like, well, I don't know. I just thought we should ask about that.
Went to MIT.
Yeah.
So yeah, even then, he's even saying the only reason I even knew to ask about it because he was informed. So he sounds like, which is pretty cool. Sounds like Massie's on the path, or far down the path, one way or another. So he's talking Phoenix to feds. So that's pretty. Makes me feel good. All right, let's roll the chat. It's been a minute since I checked in on you, beautiful people. Here's Jake Moore saying JD couldn't even push back on a Yemen bombing in a group chat. Dude has no stroke. Just there to be groomed to be the next cucked out president. 100% for sure. Let me see what else we got. Good morning, Eclipse Collective. So good morning, goons. Fuck these Jews. Nice to see you here. Nice to join us. Good morning, Hipster Tactical. Loves me some Thomas Massie. Since that poll is why democracy is a plague. Anyone saying it's a hoax is proof democracy is a failure. And then the funny thing is too is just the fact that that thing exists proves democracy is a failure. Like, it's such a crazy degree of proof that democracy is a failure, because it's like, although I guess it's technically a constitutional republic, so you say it's not supposed to be exactly the will of the people, but you're supposed to be electing representatives because they're supposed to. I guess in certain instances, maybe, the will of the people may not be right at that given time. But I know this is such an absurd example of where the will of the people is clearly so far in one degree, and then a small minority acting in a completely other way. And these are the ones of what we elected to do, essentially some semblance of our will. Doesn't necessarily always have to be mob rule according to the rules of Constitutional Republic, but the idea is it's supposed to be some close semblance to it, and this is nowhere near nowhere near that at all. So, all right, let me keep going. You guys are arguing drugs in the chat. That's nice. That's nice. Let me see. We're talking about stimulants in the chat. You guys have some fun times. Yeah, guys, I am a fan. Cocaine was a fun time in my life, I will admit. So I don't know if you're talking down on cocaine. I don't know. It's pretty dope. And then Rise of Liberty says, I think I figured out the call-in thing. We have several options. Just need to figure out what we want to do, and then we need to test it. Oh, yeah, you heard it here. You heard it here, brother. Oh, yeah. Oh, that was fucked. Something about my voice was off there. I threw it off. Anyways, I don't know. Maybe the impressions is becoming less and less a thing. We'll see. But anyways, point being is looks like coming soon on Already Dead. You guys will be able to call in, so that's nice. You guys are talking about clan hangings. Hit that like button, everybody, says Qbert. All right, what else we got here? Good morning, Rick Johnson. I think it's the first I've seen you in the chat today. Good morning. Good morning. Good old amphetamine's a better choice. They're arguing amphetamine. To be fair, I've never diddled with amphetamine too much. I've done Vyvanse and Adderall a couple times, like nothing crazy, like anyone has. I went to college once, it was a first semester. but yeah, I was. They're not fun. I don't like those though. They're not fun. There's only like those sort of drugs are like I gotta clean the garage and I gotta write a paper. Like it's like not fun. I'm not like woohoo. No. Anyways, it's just funny that my chat is nothing but arguing about whether there was any sort of virtue to the clan hangings and drugs. That's great. It's great. Good morning, everybody. Oh, I saw someone new in there. All right, what else do we got? I think it's Mike Mortal. I think that's the first I've seen you here. I think he says counterterrorism, as we call it, terrorism. All right. All right, what else do we got? Good morning, Jory Glockton. This channel reminds me of Davy Crocco. I don't know whether I should be upset or say thank you, but okay. What else we got? Jose's audience very divided on drugs. Yeah. The best drugs are the one you take, says Dr. Nick. Yes. But seriously, meth is death. I never mess with meth. I've seen people who are on meth, and like just seeing someone on meth made me go, that doesn't look fun. That just looks awful. Like, frankly, like when I saw people on meth, it reminded me of people on Adderall or like Vyvanse. That's what it reminded me of. But like in a much deeper, but then also with like a weird white trash tinge to it. You're like, this is just like I don't know. If I'm going to do this, I'll just do Adderall. Like this is, I don't know. Like not going to do meth like a fucking poor. Anyways, yeah, so would you tell your kids to try Coke when they're old enough? No, I wouldn't tell them to try Coke. You out of your mind? I mean, I don't know. I don't know. I guess like maybe when they're old, like adults, I'd have some sort of honest conversation about the pros and cons and like, but I don't know. I guess it depends on the current, like I definitely, especially under current situations, like obviously I joke and stuff, I would never suggest anyone does it at all. Cause I mean, unless you had some sort of fucking straight from farm connection, like you've got so many other things to worry about, such as cutting agents and stuff. So yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's probably not a great idea. It seems pretty hazardous for your health. Although funny enough, actually, like from my understanding, cocaine itself, the actual drug, is really not like medically speaking all that bad for you. But if you're taking something that's cut at like damn near every instance at which it exchanges hands, yeah, now you're dealing with a whole other host of health issues. So, funny enough, it's actually, in my opinion, I guess probably not even so much the cocaine that's the issue as it is the rest of it. But yeah, I don't know. I'd have an honest conversation with it at some point. But yeah, no, I'm definitely not going to advocate it. This is just me being a silly goose right now. So, definitely not advocating any of it. So, meth kills your soul. Yeah, we hear so many parapolitical stories of people doing meth. It's fucking weird stuff. Meth is screwy stuff. All right, let's get into, I rolled the chat. We're good now. All right, let's get into the next story about Ryan Routh. He's been doing some weird stuff lately. He filed an unhinged motion. This is from Ken, our boy Ken Silva. Said in which he challenges Trump to a fight. So let's go ahead and read it. He also asked for strippers too. So let's read this as a motion. Because if I recall correctly, I believe Ryan chose to represent himself. For those who don't recall who Ryan Routh is, he's the second attempted assassinator of Trump. He was the one who showed up at his golf course, was hiding in the bushes or whatever. I mean, even all that story, there's a lot of weirdness to it. But, I mean, then we have him, I mean, even just before he started making motions and stuff, there's a lot of stuff about his life story that you're like, this guy's a wild boy. And here's more to that effect. Now, obviously, a lot of people will go, he's just trying to make a plea deal. I don't know. Also, a lot of people go, MKULTRA. Perhaps. I don't know. Maybe he's just fucking blue-pilled to the nth degree. I mean, I guess to some degree, if you're going to work for the enemy, especially to such a degree to where Ryan Routh was, I believe he was tied up in all sorts of weird contracting stuff, like getting people to go over to Ukraine and stuff. But so, anyways, point being, it's like I guess, I mean, not something we really think about a lot, but with these glowy characters of all different variations, a lot of them are going to believe in the things that they do. Because, I mean, otherwise, why the fuck did they get there in the first place? And I think sometimes it requires having a little bit of a deranged mentality or outlook on life or ideology or whatever. And perhaps this is what we're seeing here. I have no fucking idea. It's wacky. But let's go through it. So motion to exclude prosecution's latest evidence and support. To present new evidence 2 weeks before court, when it has been almost a year for them to gather all they needed, need I say more? It is absurd. The deadline is passed. If you would like to trade admitting the evidence for my subpoena of that baboon, Donald J. Trump, bring that idiot on. It is a deal. If you do not want to trade for dumbass, then give me all the others on my recent subpoena list. But I think a beatdown session would be more fun and entertaining for everyone. Give me shackles and cuffs and let the old man give it his worst. We must beat down crime in America. Carpet is red, isn't it? No harm in blood. If I am housed at Fort Lucy, can it be in a far-off, quiet room? Can I have access to documents, phones, visitation, email, and maybe a computer and printer? Or a fancy typewriter like this one? Some female strippers would be great, too. Model parent, he put in parentheses. Or perhaps a putting green so I can work on my putting. In parentheses, a golf joke. A round of golf with this racist pig. He wins, he can execute me. I win, I get his job. And then he puts in parentheses, sorry, Hillbilly Vance. And it says Ryan Routh. And then it gives inmate number and the P.O. box to the jail. But that's not all, folks. Here we got more from him. Alleged would-be Trump assassin Ryan Routh wanted to call a sexual partner as a character witness. So the unnamed lover would apparently attest to Ryan's peacefulness because he refused to spank her ass. The judge refused to it. She called this a farce, but let's look through the documents. The U.S. District Court, so the United States versus Ryan Ralph, the exhibit and witness list we're looking at here. As description of exhibits and witnesses. So first one, Secret Service agent, the R.F. at fence fired shots, whatever. And then there's the next one, which is redacted. So I'm assuming obviously his lover. And it said, wanted me to spank / slap ass, and I refused. I will not spank, choke, or pull hair. No, is what he said. And then here's more. Okay, I think this is a ruling from the judge right here. So the next group of new witnesses consists of 4 individuals who defendant seeks to subpoena as character witnesses to show his asserted peacefulness, gentleness, and nonviolence. The first of these 4 is an individual whom defendant crudely and inappropriately says wanted him to spank / slap ass, and he refused during a sexual act. This witness is somehow necessary, defendant claims, because her sexual experience with defendant evidences his purported peacefulness, gentleness, and nonviolence. The judge didn't take too kindly to it. Fun stuff. I don't know what to make of this. We'll see. I mean, maybe we'll have some more fun stories coming from Ryan Ralph. That's all I have for you guys today on Ryan. Fun stuff. You guys tell me, what do you guys think? I really don't even know what to make of it. I mean, either way, it's fun. It's a fun story. It spices things up. All right, let's roll the chat, and then we'll get into the last story of the day. Somebody says, go to the source in Colombia for the blow. Yeah. Gross. Marmax says, I liked all drugs, but fortunately shooting up meth was my jam. Gross. That's gross. Ew. You're gross. But I've been sober off everything, even weed and alcohol, for 11 years. Well, good for you. After all that was gross. And I bet you'd agree with me. Meth is just gross. I don't know. There's just something just gross about it. Like, I've joked before that I'd be like sort of willing to try it, because I do have kind of the mindset I'm very much like I guess obviously I hesitate to say willing to try anything. I'm not willing to try anything. There's certain things I'm not willing to try, but like, I don't know. I've definitely experimented. So it's like, but at the same time, it's one of those ones that like I have seen people on it, and so I've seen the effects, and I'm just like, I don't really. It's the same thing. For example, like what is it? What do they call it? They call it like huffing. What do they use? Like dusters or whatever. I've seen people do that shit too. And like the best thing to keep me from ever wanting to do that was seeing somebody do that. I was like, yeah, that's fucking gross. Like you see how they're acting, you're like, it just looks like the worst. So I don't know what my point is, but I'm glad you're clean. Good for you. So keep it up. Let me see what else we got. Trying to call his lover to show he's peaceful, all the while wanting to beat the brakes off Trump, says Mulgara. Yes. It was gross, says Martimac. It made me a horrible person. Yeah, this is our thing. Yeah, drugs do make you a bad person. I mean, like, even like, so that would be the drawback of something like cocaine. You do get pretty, shit's not cheap, and it is fun. So it's not like physically addicting. So like, I guess that's kind of the point I was trying to get at. It's not even that I'm necessarily saying that like cocaine's amazing or anything, but really, comparatively speaking to a lot of drugs, especially if you take out the variable of the cutting agents, I think it's probably healthier. I really do, compared to like other drugs. So, or not all, but I just think it for some reason it gets this like crazy rap. I guess probably because of the crack stuff, because crack's pretty crazy. Like changing it in that way really takes it to a whole other level. So I mean, like hell, even when it started, like most people, like before the coke epidemic took off, followed by the crack epidemic, it was mostly just used as people in those areas would just chew the leaves, so it had like a mild effect. So I don't know. So it's just kind of the people then further distilled it and find ways to make it more and more effective, and it did crazy shit. So that's the one I'm trying to drive at. Yeah, see, Bobo says Duster looks so damn bad. Yeah, it's awful. It's gross shit. So Nevsky says the Jews want you high on drugs, will they get high on your children's blood? You are correct, Nevsky. Stay away from. Generally speaking, you are correct. You should just stay away from drugs. Any sort of mind-altering substances, generally speaking, you should probably steer away from. Generally better to be sober, particularly. I mean, there's some substances that are like not as bad for you as others are, as I was trying to express there. But generally speaking, it's not good for you. It's probably better to stay on the straight and narrow. So that's called that low time preference lifestyle right there. All right, let's get into the last story today. We're into the Bolton Beatdown. We'll talk about what's been going on with him. Well, he's under investigation now. So he's under investigation for espionage. So we've got some legal documents to look at here. Here's from the District of Maryland. It says application for a warrant by telephone or other reliable electronic means. So we're looking at the warrant here. The basis for the search, evidence of a crime, contraband, property designed for use, intended for use, or used in committing a crime. Those are things selected there. So that is, I'm not sure where we're seeing espionage. Oh, here we go. Offense description, gathering, transmitting, or losing defense information, unauthorized removal and retention of classified documents or material. And then here's more. Let me see. Let me see. It says all items. Here's an attachment B. Particular things to be seized. It says all items. Blah 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 blah. 1. All physical documents and records with or without classification markings that appear to be classified relate to Bolton's former position as assistant to the president for national security affairs, and then redacted, along with any containers or boxes in which such documents are located, as well as any other containers or boxes are collectively stored or found together with the aforementioned documents or in containers or boxes. So anyways, and then the second part, information related to national defense. So this is just more kind of shows that the intention here is going after, is an espionage. So we knew he was going over classified stuff, but Ken's saying here this is the kind of crime that gets one set to a Supermax facility. So let's keep more on this. Ken reminding us here too that the same crimes John Bolton's suspected of here right now are what landed 21-year-old gamer Jack Texera in prison for 15 years. So I just wanted to throw that out there. I thought it was worthwhile to remember. I know a lot of people like to focus on, oh no, we don't want to be a banana republic. Well, I don't know. While I in a certain sense, don't like the idea of political people doing it, but I also, on the flip side, I'm sick and fucking tired of this bullshit over and over again. Lock her up, lock him up, lock her up, lock him up, lock him up, lock him up, lock him up, and never anything fucking happening. Now, I know this is a bullshit-ass crime, espionage, whatever, but in this case, with Bolton, hey, you've gone other people for this, people that were, let's be real, Jack Texera is a fucking hero. That's what he is. He's a hero. That man is in jail right now, and he's a hero. He probably I don't know. You could probably make some case he saved lives. I mean, he was the one who came out with the early information on how absolutely abysmal the death numbers were in Ukraine. And they were nowhere near what the DOD was trying to portray them as being. He kind of, in a big way, I think, changed the conversation on the Ukraine war. And I think in large part we have Jack Texera to thank for. And as a result, he's in jail for well over a decade as a 21-year-old. Let's be real, that's a boy. So he's a young boy, and he's in jail for 15 years because he showed moral character. And John Bolton is facing a similar such situation. And we all know what'll probably happen to him. Probably a whole lot of nothing. This will probably be some political game, political theater. That's what it'll be. But I don't know. I think it'd be cool if perhaps he saw some justice. Assuming, let's be real. Let's get down to the details of what he did here. We'll find out more as time goes on. But let's say he did do some untoward behavior, even if it is something like, oh, he didn't dot that I and cross that T. Well, fuck you, buddy. Go to jail. Because, I don't know. To some degree, fuck him. I don't know. I get the hazard of not wanting to fall into a banana republic. The idea of people just using it to attack their political opponents. But, but then this also just becomes then the stupid little fucking bitch move that keeps you from ever doing anything effective whatsoever. Now, I know, to be fair, John Bolton isn't a perfect example of this situation I'm kind of describing here. But, I know, because it isn't like this clear-cut, crazy crime. It's some sort of vague espionage, but I don't know. It's just kind of just blatant hypocrisy, I think. So, I don't know. Let's go back to chat. We're going to get out of here. Oh, man, I didn't even have that shared. What the hell happened there? Okay, well, whatever. Not that it mattered. I was just reading articles at that point. I didn't play any video earlier, did I? No, I didn't. We're good. Whatever. StreamYard being glitchy, but oh well. All right, guys, let's roll for the chat, and then we'll get on out of here. We're basically at the end of it. I think I'm going to try. I know you guys don't like it, but whatever, you can get over it. I don't really care. I think I'm going to make another attempt at reading the what am I trying to say? I'm having to bring far at reading the fucking death call or whatever, just because I feel like she deserves it. And if you guys don't want, I get it. You know, a lot of people don't like that. Then hey, whatever. It's the end of the show. You know, bounce. That's right around the intro time, anyways. So I'll probably read it at the very end, and then I'll also play. I have a little outro video for you guys. Where I'm going to call Alex Karp a faggot because he put out something really gay lately. So yeah, but with that, let's roll through the chat. Say your goodbyes, all that, or your check-in, say hi, all that, and then we'll get on out of here. All right. What else we got? Crack ain't free base. Is anything okay? Still arguing about drugs. Why are you talking about Epstein? Says Rick Johnson. Good morning, Rick. Good morning. Did you hear about what Michael Cohen said he told Bolton? No, I did not, Nevsky. If you have that, feel free to message me or text or tag me or whatever, which I've actually been really bad about mentioning that lately. I've been noticing an uptick in people following lately. I don't know why. Maybe it's from the couple times I mail on. She does have a larger audience. I have no idea, but seemingly there's more of you lately, and I've been bad about reminding the audience, this should be part of my normal spiel, that you guys play a big part in the show. You may not realize this, but a lot of these tabs are from you guys tagging me and stuff, because I'm but one man. I don't really have a team. I guess you could say I sort of have a team. As I've alluded to, I have Jacob that helps me out with some stuff occasionally that I do slip him a little bit of money to make me clips and stuff, but that's literally all I got. I got a Jacob. I don't have a team. So that's what I got. And but with that, you guys can help with the show. You guys can tag me and stuff. This is another one of these things you guys can do to help the show if you don't want to chip in money, or if you also want to chip in money and just help the show. Is tag me and stuff. If you're on social media, follow me on Twitter at TowerGangJose. Tag me in things if you have stories that you find interesting, because if you find it interesting, there's a good chance I probably find it interesting, and helps me keep aware of what's going on. I'm not someone who spends a ton of time on social media, so together I think we can create a pretty good show that is keeps an eye on the important news out there that my audience, you guys, would like. So yeah, let me keep going. They will find something in your house. Michael Cohen and John Bolton. Okay. Tom says I don't want to hear man cry, Jose. Okay, good. That's fair. Well, then leave at that point. Okay. I just felt like I didn't not doing her right by not reading that. It just felt wrong. So, and I didn't really cover it the way I wanted to. So yeah. Rise Liberty says the problem isn't the vagueness of the espionage legal definition. The problem is actually Executive Order 12333. It basically gives all intelligence agencies free reign with no oversight. Yeah. All right. Well, okay. Well, then let me see. Like I said, I'm going to make an attempt to be super stoic, and I don't know. Well, maybe I'll bail. Maybe I won't. We'll find out. I'm going to try to read it one more time, and then we'll play the Alex Karp's gay little outro, because that's what Alex Karp is, a gay little man. But let's play. Let me try this. Let me bring up the tab real quick. Let's try. All right. Let's try again. Take me, come. Do I come and take you? Honestly, I'm very scared. Come. Call someone to come get me. Promise. Honey, okay. Of course, my darling, I'm coming to get you. Now, Uncle from the Crescent, he is currently coordinating so that we can come and get you. There any artillery activity around you? Yes, take me. My darling, I swear I want to take you, but it's not in my hand now. Let's say in the name of Allah, the most merciful. Praise to Allah, the Lord of the world. I mean, you can kind of hear her literally crying herself crying to try to comfort herself, the kind of awful, horrible crying that. Praise to Allah, the Lord of the world. Well done. Look at you. You've memorized well. Mateen, yes. Are they still in the car? Yes. Where are you seeking safety now? In the car. The tank is by my side. Promise, come and take me. Promise. Stay in the car, my dear. I'm going to keep talking to you. I'm going to leave the line open. I'm not going to cut the line. Okay, promise. Come and get me. Oh, they didn't share the. Okay, they didn't. All right. Well, I'm kind of glad they didn't because that part's fucking just awful. Good. I guess sorta. Let's keep playing. I don't know. Maybe they don't. Okay. Well, it's the end. Well, they did. Just so you were, they cut out like literally the last second is her mortifying screams and you hear the firing. So, and then it just goes quiet. So just so you know. But all right, let's and then one of these fucking pieces of shit that's semi-responsible for this stuff, Alex Karp, right here. He's like the CFO or some shit, one of the high ups in Palantir. He's kind of like basically the big guy at Palantir. Like Thiel's like the overarching like guy, but like Karp's like the guy, if you get what I'm saying. Like I don't know, like whatever the fucking guy who's like, operations, this, that's Karp, whereas Thiel's like, I don't know, probably more money, more logistics, whatever. Karp's, yeah. So he's the real evil psycho. I mean, they're both evil psychos, but anyways, I just thought it was funny. Credit to Kalani Pingosh. He actually shared this first, and I shared it too. I just thought it was funny. It was a video of a presentation of his, and he's just such a fucking dork. So I just thought it'd be a fun little outro for that. But before we do that, I do remind you guys, if you want to support the show, leave a like, share, subscribe, comment, leave a 5-star review on iTunes or Spotify. You can follow me on Twitter at TowerGangJose. Like I said earlier, tag me and stuff there if you want to contribute to how the show, the topics of the show. Also, if you want to support the show in the best way you really can, you can do that with money. I mean, all those other options I gave you help, but obviously money is the best thing here. But I get it. Times are tight, but it is at the low level of $2. Gives you a whole host of perks. I would hope you just feel like you get the value out of just watching either way. But I do try to give you back some value, some additional value, in the form of, for example, paywall content. I usually do about 1 to 2 of those a week. Usually keep about 4 behind the paywall on any given time. It also gives you access to the ad-free RSS feed. Also gives you access to the Telegram. And then also, I guess, I think the format's going to sounds like probably by the next one will be changed for Already Dead. Sounds like we'll be doing call-ins. So then that means for patrons, the perk will be video call-ins. And then they also do the pre-show and post-show. Because now the pores won't have a method to access the post-show. So anyways, pre and post-show, all that means is you get to hang out when we show up and then when we're getting out, because we're giving the StreamYard link. So if you want to show up early and hang out with us before or after, we're usually in there 5 to 10 minutes early. We usually stay about 5-10 minutes after. If you want to hang out with us, that's where you can do it. And also, if you want to join and hang out, there's also a private chat a lot of the patrons like to use to kind of so that they're hanging out in the back. Yeah. And we also take video calls the second half. But the highest levels of my sponsors, I read them off every episode. I have my former co-host on Tower Gang at Tower Gang, or at Learn to Toad, also at Abrogate D's, at CLVRSK, at _Infant Zeal, Tim Tuttle, at John Klebold, Will Bells, Delicious Blueberry Rabbit Eye Wine, big fan of the show, Torn May, at Wayne Taculus, The Catcher in the Rye, and Andrew Jacobs, the completely involuntary Jew. All right, guys, enjoy this outro. This is it's a little bit quiet at first, so I know everyone's going, oh, sounds out. No, it's and for the audio listener, well, actually, never mind. I'm not going to say for the audio listeners. If you're an audio listener, you should just bail by the time the outro comes. Most of the time, it doesn't make sense for you to stick around. But I guess if you do care, he's literally the first thing showing. It's Colossus of Rhodes. Like, it's this quiet, he's on, there's a screen, Colossus of Rhodes, Great Pyramid of Giza, Hanging Guards of Babylon, Statue of Zeus at Olympia, Temple of Artemis at Ephesus, Mausoleum at the Halicarnassus, Lighthouse of Alexandria, and then 8, Palantir, just the symbol. Like, see how pretentious this is? And then you see a little thing come up, and then it's it's just some Palantir, a little ring thing, the 8th wonder of the world, Palantir. And it's showing a little, actually it's a sphere, so it's clearly doing there's a little 8 symbol thing here, Palantir 8. Oh, I'm retarded. I didn't have it up, so sorry. Actually, it works out I was describing it. Well, you didn't miss anything. It was quiet the entire time. I didn't have the screen up for the video people, but all right, let's go and play it. Well, at least I didn't get to the point where the audio is not there. So now you can see it. If you guys go check it out, go check out my Twitter if you want to catch the first 30 seconds, which were silence and just pretentious, douchey fucking stuff, filleting themselves. And it says, in the beginning here...
We were the freak show. I've been cautioned to be a little modest about our...
Oh, and I did want to say, my statement here, if I get assassinated by my toaster or ran over by a self-driving car, just know it's because I called Alex Karp a faggot. And with that, guys, I'm going to go ahead and jump. Enjoy this outro. I will see you guys probably Monday at 11 a.m. Eastern. Same time, same place. Most days, Monday through Friday. And usually and also there's it should be actually right now. Should be another No Way Jose episode dropping right now. So you can watch that after too. But all right, enjoy this.
Bombastic numbers. Extraordinary numbers. We still believe America is the leader of the free world, that the West is superior, that we have to fight for these values. We should give American corporations and, most importantly, our government an unfair advantage. The single biggest thing that will make this country dominant is to make industry in this country look like venture did and give venture returns to growth. Most unique thing that Palantir does is we own value creation. We spent 20 years for this moment. Palantir is here to disrupt and make the institutions we partner with the very best in the world. And when it's necessary, to scare our enemies and on occasion kill them.
Please welcome co-founder and chief executive officer at Palantir, Dr. Alex Karp.
Even this working? It's working. Even I find that motivational. It's pretty good. I should just sit down. It's like, wow. I don't have anything else to say, but at the risk of regurgitating the one thing here, it's like that Silicon Valley, we've been at odds with Silicon Valley on and off since our inception, 20 years ago, where we were essentially patriotic, and that was optional in Silicon Valley and kind of viewed skeptically.